companies and consumers will pay higher prices because of the tariffs, but it would also hurt China's economy. On Wall Street, more selling could be looming. Dow futures down about 300. It's back to court today for actress Felicity Huffman
to enter her guilty plea to charges that she took part in college admissions cheating scam. Now, she agreed earlier this month to plead guilty to conspiracy to commit mail fraud and honest services mail fraud. Investigators say she paid $15,000 to have someone correct answers on her daughter's SAT exam so that her daughter can get a higher score. Huffman faces up to 10 months in jail.
That's Joy DeMandon with Boston 25 TV outside the federal courthouse this morning. This is Fox News.
Skies remain cloudy, and we've had some light rain showers crossing the area. 43 degrees. 5:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. Authorities are looking for the driver of a pickup truck that hit a 7-year-old girl riding a bicycle in St. Charles Township. Kane County Sheriff's Office tells us this morning the black Dodge pickup ran into the child yesterday near Geneva and Courier Avenues. The truck drove off and was found abandoned a few blocks away. The girl airlifted to Lutheran General Hospital with potentially life-threatening injuries. Police are identifying the man killed in a shooting over the weekend on Chicago's west side. Authorities say Sherelle Brown was stopped by police Saturday in the 1400 block of North Lawndale, and an armed confrontation ensued. Brown took off running, and a second armed confrontation took place before the suspect was taken into custody. The incident remains under investigation. The officers involved in that shooting will be placed on administrative duties. 4 fallen Chicago police officers recognized in Washington, D.C. Superintendent Eddie Johnson spoke with the families of CPD Commander Paul Bauer and officers Sam Jimenez, Eduardo Marmelo, and Conrad Gary before they were honored yesterday at the beginning of National Police Week.
In talking to them, they were actually looking forward to this because the entire country will see what great heroes came from their families and the support systems that they have.
The officers' names can be seen on the National Police Officers Memorial Wall. All 4 died in the line of duty last year. A Chicago man is accused of calling 911 multiple times and falsely reporting that officers had been shot. Terrence King Jr. appeared in court yesterday on 1 felony count of disorderly conduct. King was arrested Friday. A Chicago public schools teacher is accused of sexually abusing a student 2 years ago at an elementary school on the Northwest Side. Michael Hawk appeared in court Saturday on a charge of criminal sexual abuse following his arrest last Wednesday. Prosecutors say Hawk commented on a girl's cheerleading uniform and inappropriately touched her in March of 2017. One person is dead after being struck by a Red Line train on Chicago's north side. CTA says the incident happened yesterday at the Bryn Mawr station. Person was pronounced dead at the scene, and Red Line service was delayed for several hours following the incident. Bond set at $1.5 million for a man charged with murdering another man earlier this month in North Chicago. Marquez McVeigh appeared in Lake County Court late Saturday in the shooting death of Xavier Collins. Walker McVeigh was arrested late Friday after investigators determined he was responsible for that shooting. A rap artist is dead after a shooting at a nightclub in Miami-Dade County. Chicago 24-year-old Amir Golston, who performs as AAB, was killed in Saturday's shooting at Miami Beach's Cameo nightclub. Another victim is in stable condition. Bail is set at $750,000 for the man accused of sexually assaulting a woman last week in Glendale Heights. Prosecutors say the woman was about to start her shift at a restaurant on North Avenue Friday when Kenneth Hatlin attacked her. The suspect dragged the victim to a grassy area near her car, strangled her, removing her clothing, and then sexually assaulting her. Well, things are beginning to unravel for Governor J.B. Pritzker in Springfield. Major Central Illinois Republican lawmakers says portions of the cannabis legalization plan will be a deal breaker. State Senator Jason Barrickman says the component of the proposal that would expunge the record of minor offenses related to marijuana is unacceptable to many in Springfield. Meantime, two House Democrats are opposing Governor J.B. Pritzker's push for a ballot question that would allow the progressive income tax. State Representative Sam Yingling and Jonathan Carroll announcing their opposition to the plan. This narrows the number of potential yes votes from 74 down to 72, with 71 needed for that question simply to appear on the November 2020 ballot. An Illinois mayor, one of 9 arrested in connection with a prostitution investigation. Mayor Richard Olson of Sandwich was arrested last week on charges of solicitation of a sexual act in LaSalle County. The family of a well-known coach for Peoria Notre Dame High School's football team has died following a heart attack. Sean Gillen was removed from life support over the weekend. He had been working out at a gym last Monday when he apparently suffered the heart condition. Gillen then, according to his family, donated his organs, an act that was recognized with a Gift of Hope flag-raising ceremony the day he died. Chris Bryant blasts the 2-run home run in the 7th inning in a Cubs 4-1 win over the Brewers.
Great homestand, going back to the Cardinals, and obviously, weather, cold, not the greatest conditions to play in, long games, and super proud of the way that we've handled everything.
Tim Anderson belts a 3-run home run to lift the White Sox to a 5-1 win over the Blue Jays in Toronto.
We was able to lay off some of those pitches, and we was able to kill his mistakes, and we came together as a team, and man, we was able to get the win.
NBA draft lottery tomorrow night in Chicago. Prospects coming to Chicago the day after for the draft combine. The Bulls with a 12% chance of snagging the top spot. Blazers and Raptors move on to their respective conference finals after Game 7 wins Sunday. The news, a service of InvisibleFence.com. Pet parents trust Invisible Fence brand to protect their pets from escape and provide extra freedom. For a limited time, get 50% off the installation of a Boundary Plus containment system, awarded a Consumer's Digest Best Buy. Visit InvisibleFence.com to learn more. InvisibleFence.com. 5:08 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Dennis Prager sees one major threat to our union.
The existential threat. They love the word existential threat. But I also believe there's an existential threat. But mine is actually rational. I believe there's an existential threat to the world and especially to the United States, and that is leftism. As the United States of America will cease to exist if the left obtains power. Look at Venezuela. Look everywhere they touch.
The Dennis Prager Show. Weekdays at 11, right before Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
Have you heard about Newsmax TV? It's America's fastest-growing cable news channel in 70 million homes. Every minute, every day. Watch Newsmax for breaking news on President Trump. Plus, get insights from Bill O'Reilly, Alan Dershowitz, Pat Buchanan, Mike Reagan, and more. You can find Newsmax TV on DirecTV, Xfinity, Dish, Optimum, Spectrum, Fios, Uverse, Suddenlink, WOW, and dozens of cable systems. So check your guide now and watch Newsmax TV. Real news for real people.
Hey, I just heard that people at my friend's company got sextortion emails.
Yeah, it's a popular type of spear phishing attack.
Wow, that sounds serious.
It is. Scammers claim to have a compromising video of the victim and threaten to share it with their contact list unless they pay a ransom.
What if they target someone at our company?
We're secured with Barracuda Sentinel. It uses artificial intelligence to block spear phishing attacks, including sextortion emails.
That's a relief.
Protect your business at Barracuda.com. Barracuda, your journey secured.
Message and data rates may apply. Please don't text while driving.
If you've been in business more than 20 minutes, you've probably printed your logo on all kinds of promotional products. We all know promotional products work because they're everywhere from sales meetings and corporate events to trade shows. Ever wondered why or how to best use promotional products to grow your business? Let us show you today for free. We're 4imprint, promotional product experts at your service. We're giving away an ebook called Promotional Products Work, absolutely free, to everyone who texts radio to 88988. At 4imprint, we make your logo look perfect on thousands of promotional items. With our 100% guarantee, it'll be right the first time, on time, every time. Your free ebook will reveal valuable insights that can attract new customers, build your brand, help your cause, or simply grow your business. Get the ebook Promotional Products Work absolutely free by texting radio to 88988. That's RADIO to 88988.
You work hard. You know what it takes to succeed. Now it's time to put your experience to work and launch your business. For a limited time, Express Employment Professionals will give you $25,000 to open your franchise. Get to know Express. Visit expressfranchising.com today.
5:11. Check the roads this morning in the AM 560 traffic center. Here is Jim Talamonte.
On Chicago's north side this morning, there's a crash on Irving Park at Clark Street. The Orland Park Southwest Highway remains closed due to flooding at 135th and LaGrange Road. Aurora, starting today, New York Street closes between Wilder and Grand. This is for sewer maintenance work. The project is expected to last through the end of July. Seeing heavy traffic on the inbound Bishop Ford Freeway right now between 111th and 103rd. There's moving roadwork in the left lane, looking at a 2 or 3 minute delay. We're not seeing any delays at the moment on Kennedy, so overnight work is set to wrap up. The Eisenhower and the Stevenson look good. Same goes for the Ryan. That's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer starts next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1 hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center. And here's Jillian Ford.
Today, clouds breaking for some sun with a high of 60. Clear to partly cloudy and chilly tonight with a low of 42. Mostly sunny tomorrow with a high of 68. Wednesday, clouds and sunshine with a high of 71. I'm Jillian Ford on AM 560, The Answer.
43 at O'Hare. Next news, 5:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy starts now on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by In the Know with Wealth Management Group, hosted by Craig Bolanos. Heard Sunday mornings at 10.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy, and I hope everybody had a lovely Mother's Day for the moms in their lives. How did Peyton and Eli treat you, Amy?
Oh, it was heavenly. Anything I wanted them to do, they did. So I have a very clean house this morning.
Well, that's good.
And then last night, Peyton cooked some T-bone steaks. He looked on YouTube. He went out and bought the steaks, walked to the store, got the steaks, got the rub for the steaks. Had this whole process planned, 40 minutes in the oven at 250, and then he seared them on. I mean, it was better than Gene and Giorgetti's, I have to tell you.
Wow. That's one more steak than I've ever cooked.
Put the meat on the table. He's like, "Happy Mother's Day, Mom." He was very excited.
That's pretty nice.
Yeah, it was really sweet.
That's
really
a good deal. Well, it's interesting because children are the future's enemies, according to the left, and our very own Aristophanes of the 21st century, Alyssa Milano, is making that point by calling for a sex strike.
Is this Chirac, too? The untold story, taking it to Georgia?
Yeah.
'Cause remember, the premise of that movie was a sex strike until their gang-banging husbands made a truce.
I don't know how to break it to Spike Lee fans, but one, he's a mediocre director. And two, Chirac is not a new idea. And so Alyssa Milano's derivative call for a sex strike is not a new idea. It's about 2,400 years old. The play Lysistrata.
Don't tell her.
Yeah, that was to end the Peloponnesian War. So, okay. But sure. Everything old is new again, and it's fun. Our reproductive rights are being erased, Alyssa Milano tweeted. Until women have legal control over our own bodies, we just cannot risk pregnancy. Join me by not having sex until we get our bodily autonomy back. Bodily autonomy was
autonomy.
That was the name of your college band, right? Bananarama tribute band.
It was, yeah. I actually think you came to see us one time.
It was great. Yeah.
We performed at the Sports Com, and we sold out the joint.
You killed with Cruel Summer. It was excellent. I'm calling for a hashtag sex strike. Pass it on. This is over the Georgia heartbeat law, which, of course, has been misreported by the D.C. press corps. This law, and there are many similar to it that passed in Ohio and Kentucky, are moving through the General Assemblies of the legislatures in Mississippi, Alabama, Louisiana, sort of in response to the pro-infanticide legislation in New York, Virginia, Illinois.
Right. It's our way of fighting back.
The law bans abortion when the baby has a detectable human heartbeat. It declares the scientific, philosophical, and theological truth that an unborn child is a natural person under state law. David French writing on the topic in National Review. It's going to be challenged, of course. But the reporting on this says women could get up to 30 years in prison. Georgia just criminalized abortion. Women who terminate their pregnancies would receive life in prison. That's a headline from Slate.
Yeah.
That's a lie. It's not true. Planned Parenthood concedes it's not true. There is no prosecution of women for terminating a pregnancy in Georgia under this law. It is only for the criminalization. The criminal penalties only attached to the medical professional.
If you administer the medicine, the drugs, or other substances.
Right. So, but that's nonetheless, that hasn't stopped Alyssa Milano for calling for a sex strike, and that complements nicely all of the Hollywood types who have suggested they will boycott Georgia with their production companies, their TV shows, and the like.
Yeah, The Wire, something that they're saying that they're going to yank their production crew out of Georgia. Find another state to film in.
Well, not The Wire, because that's no longer serious, but David Simon, who created The Wire.
Right, yeah.
Yes, they're going to be pulled from its potential roster of filming locations, and Nina Jacobson, who helped produce Crazy Rich Asians, said the same, and Jessica Chastain, John Leguizamo, a slew of others criticized the law, suggested they'll refrain from filming there. Actually, and the filming industry is rather big in Georgia. $800 million in tax credits were doled out by the state in fiscal year 2017 alone. 92,000 jobs related to the film industry in Georgia. So, okay, the typical thing, a boycott to try to squeeze weak-kneed politicians, the way that there were the same response when North Carolina passed the, hey, girls have to go to the girls' bathroom and boys have to go to the boys' bathroom law. The interesting thing, though, with all of this, is two things. One is this is going to be leveled up to the Supreme Court, and we may have a decision on Roe v. Wade and its future standing as federal law, a constitutional guarantee, sooner than was previously imagined.
Mm-hmm.
And again, if Roe v. Wade is overturned, or hopefully when it is overturned, then it just returns to the states. There's not going to be a decision. It's highly, highly unlikely there to be a decision that would criminalize abortion nationally. Much more likely it would be overturned, returned to the states for the laboratories of democracy to experiment as they see fit, as it were. Now, this is against the backdrop of the protest in Philly on Friday in response to that state rep from Pennsylvania, Brian Sims, who accosted the prayer warrior sidewalk counselor outside a Planned Parenthood clinic in his district, and later sort of tried to walk it back in, but not really. So
it was a non-apology apology.
Yeah. So pro-lifers responded.
Good.
Abby Johnson, Matt Walsh, and others organized people to come out there and speak up for life. Interestingly, remember, Philadelphia, that's where the Gosnell horrors occurred. That's where Kermit Gosnell murdered women and children, now serving a life sentence. Here's what some of the protesters, or pro-lifers, really, just had to say in response to Brian Sims and Alyssa Milano and Hollywood.
Protecting that child's life is being pro-woman. And, and having 3 wonderful children, I would love for everyone to have that privilege of the joy of having children.
There's so much help out there, you just have to look for it.
And by the way, I wasn't ready for a second kid, and I was pretty freaked out. I wanted to finish my bachelor's degree, and I just did that.
And to be a woman is to stand firm and be a mother. And be a mother, I don't really know how else to explain it, honestly.
That's what the the pro-choice people won't tell you. They make you feel helpless and hopeless. Pro-life makes you feel encouraged, motivated, and empowered.
That's a pretty good summary. It is amazing how you're not like a real woman if you're pro-life. The idea that pro-abortion is pro-women or pro-woman, right? Pro-abortion, so aborting in many cases, obviously, women is pro-woman. The logic just really escapes me, and I think it escapes an increasing percentage of the American public, including younger people. There's the one silver lining with millennials and even Gen Z. They seem to be more pro-life than their forerunners. So that's the good news. The good news for Alyssa Milano's husband is that
she's married.
Is that he can just sort of,
sit this one out.
avoid her. I mean, okay, so I get it.
So wait, I did not know that she's married.
Yeah, she's married.
And she's going on a sex strike.
Yeah. Kevin Rooney tweeting out, okay, we get it. Now please include the silent treatment along with your sex strike.
Listen to podcasts of Dan and Amy from the AM 560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Hi, my name's Christina Stumble, and I own Farm Girl Flowers in San Francisco. With my Spark Cash Card from Capital One, I earn unlimited 2% cash back on all my business purchases. Last year, I redeemed $115,000 in cash back. Yeah, $115,000. And that doubled our digital marketing budget for the summer. Thanks to my Spark Card, we had our best summer yet. Imagine what the Spark Card from Capital One could do for your business. What's in your wallet?
Real Capital One customers pay for real stories. Credit approval required.
I'm Sarah Wallace, General Manager at Magnolia Bakery.
Every cake has the backstory of who you're giving this cake to. It's happy birthday, Jessica, or happy sweet 16, Amy, and wanting Amy to have the best sweet 16 that she could ever have. I'm working for a sweeter world, one treat at a time.
At ADP, we're designing a better way to work so you can achieve what you're working for. HR, talent, time, benefits, and payroll, informed by data and designed for people. Learn more at design.adp.com.
Hey, we still have some foursomes available for our upcoming golf outing that is benefiting the 100 clubs of Chicago, DuPage, and Will counties. And many of you asked, do I need to be a business owner to golf with you? The answer is no. Anyone can join us on Monday, June 24th at the Mistwood Golf Club in Romeoville. It's presented by Clear Financial Strategies. Just call 312-363-6680 to reserve your foursome. If you have a twosome, come and play with us. 312-363-6680. Dan, have you been purchased yet? For $2,000, you can golf with Dan for the day. I've already been purchased by the Midwest. What group? Midwest Performance Cars, right? They're going to hook me up with a new ride. Sure they are. I can dream. Also, if you're a business owner, listen up. We've got our business benefactor program. You can purchase a foursome for $1,196. You can purchase a foursome to golf with Dan for $2,000. And we will give you 25 60-second commercials to promote your business that will air right here on AM 560. It's a great deal. $3,000 in advertising for just $1,196. Call 312-363-6680.
If you have pain, I hope you listen up. Hi, it's Mike Gallagher. You don't need to live in pain. Let me repeat that. You do not have to live in pain. Chronic pain is the worst, whether it's from an accident or pain that just develops. Chicagoland, you're in luck. Dr. Ken Candido is one of the nation's most respected and successful pain doctors. He's been voted one of Chicago's best pain doctors several times. Bottom line, he's the pain doctor you need. Dr. Candido of Chicago Anesthesia and Pain Specialists will help you get off pain medication and all of the side effects. How? By finding the source of your chronic pain and fixing it.
This is Ken Candido of Chicago Anesthesia Pain Specialists. Let's make you pain-free.
Call Dr. Ken Candido and make an appointment with a cutting-edge, respected, and successful pain physician. Go to mypainchicago.com. That's mypainchicago.com. Thousands have been helped with their chronic pain, and you could be the next one. Get the phone number and all the info you need at mypainchicago.com. That's mypainchicago.com.
Fisherman, Anglers Outlet is celebrating the grand opening of their new location, now open in downtown Tinley Park.
Stop by and celebrate now through Sunday. Get outlet prices on the finest brands of fishing tackle from brands like Shimano, Daiwa, Berkley Fenwick, St. Croix, and many, many more. Plus, the freshest and liveliest bait, minnows, suckers, grubs, and their famous Canadian night crawlers. It's all at Anglers Outlet's new location in downtown Tinley Park. You'll find everything you need for fishing, and they're open early every day for your convenience. Bring in your fishing reels during this week's grand opening, and they'll professionally fill the first one up with 175 yards of Berkley Trilene line for free. Stop by the Anglers Outlet grand opening celebration all this week at 17036 Oak Park Avenue in downtown Tinley Park. The address of Anglers Outlet changed, but the phone didn't. Call them at 708-331-5711. Also find them on Facebook. Don't miss the Anglers Outlet grand opening sale on now through Sunday in Tinley Park. Fish on.
AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy were talking about Alyssa Milano calling for a sex strike over the Georgia heartbeat law. Maybe pro-life women, maybe they could go the other way in protest of Alyssa Milano's call for a sex strike and be extra affectionate to their husband. Well, I mean,
abstinence is key if you're not married.
Well, yeah, but that's what we're talking. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. I'm
Okay.
talking about hey, pro-life women, go whore yourself out to protest. What are you doing?
Get on that, ladies. Let's go.
Boy. Jim in Crown Point, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
You know, I can only speak for myself. I don't want to speak for anybody else but me. But if I had the ambition when I was single than when I was married, I'd be a multimillionaire. The minute you have children, you have to think of someone other than yourself. It brings everything into focus. You don't have, if you do it right. I mean, this is when you have a wife and a husband that are on the same page. They are your focus, and that's all you think about. And it really keeps your feet on the ground. You may not feel good, but you have children. You got to go to work. It really keeps you in line. And the payoff is when you have grandchildren. I have 7,
wow.
And I am really enjoying them because I get to watch my kids go through what I went through, and it is really awesome.
All right. Thanks for the call, Jim. Appreciate it. I mean, this great piece I sort of referenced in National Review, Kevin Williamson over the weekend, The Case for Being Born. What a commentary that is, where we are at today, that you have to make a case for being born. But he writes essentially the position of the left. Think about this. The position of the left, as you've heard even recently, all the ZPGers, neo-ZPGers, zero population growth people like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and other men and women of the left, Bill Nye. These people are ghouls. Children are not the future, but the future's enemies. Think about that. That's exactly what they're saying. That's Kevin Williamson's summary of it, but that's precisely what they're saying. What kind of future is there without children? And yet what they're promoting, all the cool kids, Bill Maher, AOC, Bill Nye the science guy, they're promoting the idea that children are the future's enemies. I mean, you've had environmentalists like Johns Hopkins University bioethicist Travis Reeder support introducing special taxes and other penalties for having too many children. We've had academics advocating China's one-child policy, which even China has now amended.
Walk that back.
I mean, just great formulation by Thomas Sowell, the author of many great formulations. Forget what people say their position is. Look to the premise. Look to the premise of their stated position. And Kevin Williamson nails it. The premise of the left, the pro-abort left's stated position, is children are not the future, they're the future's enemies. Is there a more backwards way of thinking than that?
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Speaking of backwards thinking, Rashida Tlaib waxes nostalgic about the Holocaust. No, I'm not kidding, at 5:38.
Yeah, what kind of feeling do you get when you hear about the Holocaust? But first, let's get into the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
43 degrees, 5:30. Authorities this morning are looking for the driver of a pickup truck that slammed into a 7-year-old girl riding a bicycle in St. Charles Township. Kane County sheriffs tell us this morning a black Dodge pickup ran into the child yesterday near Geneva and Courier Avenues. That truck drove off and was later found abandoned a few blocks away. The girl was airlifted to Lutheran General Hospital with potentially life-threatening injuries. Opening bell this morning after a rough week on Wall Street could see more rough water. Investors still worried about trade talks between the U.S. and China. Meantime, trade negotiations with China will continue when President Trump and President Xi Jinping attend next month's G20 summit.
Chances that President Trump and President Xi will get together at that meeting are probably pretty good.
On Fox News Sunday, the White House economic advisor Larry Kudlow saying China has not come far enough on trade. Swedish prosecutors saying they're reopening a case against WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange a month after he was removed from the Ecuadorian embassy in London. They'll seek extradition after he serves his 50-week prison term in Britain for jumping bail. Saudi Arabia says 2 of its oil tankers were sabotaged off the coast of the United Arab Emirates in attacks that caused significant damage to the vessels. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo canceling a trip to Moscow this week. Pompeo called off a stop Monday and will instead meet with European leaders in Brussels to discuss Iran. Actress Felicity Huffman is expected to plead guilty for her role in the college admissions scandal. Huffman will appear in a Boston federal courtroom today after admitting to paying $15,000 so her daughter would get more time on the SAT and for her daughter's wrong answers to be corrected. Chicago police have identified the man killed in a police shooting over the weekend on Chicago's west side. Authorities say Sherelle Brown was stopped by officers on Saturday in the 1400 block of North Lawndale. An armed confrontation then ensued. Brown took off running, and a second confrontation took place before the suspect was taken into custody. One person is dead after being struck by a Red Line train on Chicago's north side. CTA says the incident happened yesterday near the Bryn Mawr station. A train conductor was also taken to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. Chris Bryant, a 2-run home run in the 7th, helping the Cubs to a 4-1 win over the Brewers. Tim Anderson, a 3-run bomb. White Sox, 5-1 winners over the Blue Jays. The NBA draft lottery tomorrow night here in Chicago. Bulls with a 12% chance of snagging the top spot. 5:34 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Sean Hannity thinks the president is dealing with more than he should.
After never invoking executive privilege, after being the most cooperative with the Mueller investigation, and then 1.45 million documents, questions answered by the president, enough is enough. This now becomes about presidential harassment.
The Sean Hannity Show. Afternoons at 2, right before Joe Walsh at 5 on AM 560. The Answer.
When you hire a new employee, do you really know who you're hiring? What if you could do thorough research on potential employees and avoid future HR conflicts and trouble? It may sound like a daunting task, but with ETS Intelligence LLC, it's easy to get all the info on a potential hire. ETS is one of the leading private detective and security agencies in the U.S. Their client roster includes major law firms, insurance companies, high net worth individuals, and more. Our world can be a dangerous place to live and do business in. ETS Intelligence makes you safe by specializing in complex and high-tech investigations, background checks, computer forensics, surveillance, forensic accounting, and more. Let ETS Intelligence be the vetting intelligence agency for your company or business. They also provide personal security services. ETS Intelligence LLC, owned and operated by experienced active-duty law enforcement. Call toll-free 800-230-7429. 800-230-7429.
Hi, I'm Tom Sadeka, President and CEO of Precision Payroll of America. We're the 35-year-old company whose first employee and first client are still working together. We have so many wonderful clients, but with me today is someone very special.
Hi, I'm Charlie Kirk, founder of Turning Point USA. We are a nonprofit student organization battling the bias and indoctrination in America's high schools and colleges every day. We are on over 1,000 campuses and continue to grow. Precision Payroll has been there since day one and has helped us immensely as we grew to a truly national organization. No one in the business is better than Precision Payroll. Thank you, Tom.
Thank you, Charlie. What you're doing is so important. To learn more and help, go to tpusa.com. That's tpusa.com.
And for your business, let Precision Payroll make a difference for you. Call Tom at 630-242-1507. That's 630-242-1507. Or online at precisionpayroll.com.
Thank you, Charlie.
Check out Ground Game, the latest podcast from the Associated Press discussing the top political issues around the country. Available on Apple Podcasts.
5:36. Let's get an update on the roads this morning. AM 560 Traffic Center time. Here's Jim.
In East Chicago, there's a crash reported on northbound Klein Avenue at Chicago Avenue. Near the south side, a crash 24th at Indiana. In Aurora, starting today, New York Street closes for sewer work with Wilder and Grand. This closure, scheduled through the end of July. Seeing some more expressway delays now, including on the Eisenhower inbound. It's heavy Ashland at the Burn Circle. There's a new lane configuration there with 2 right lanes going. Ryan or the Kennedy. Travel time 32 minutes from 390 to downtown. A little heavy already on westbound 190 at O'Hare from Kennedy to Manheim. Around Stevenson, mild delays start at Cicero. That's traffic. I'm Jim Telemonte on AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1-hour heating and air conditioning weather center. Clouds breaking for a bit of afternoon sun and a high near 60. Still chilly overnight, low 42. 43 at O'Hare, 46 along the lakefront. Your next news update is at 6. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560 The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Papa Nicholas Coffee. Papa Nicholas, great coffee, period.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer.
This essay from Francie Hart Broghammer, Death by Loneliness.
On AM 560.
The Dan Prof story.
Exactly. That is the working title of my autobiography.
The Answer.
Dan and Amy, we're talking about Alyssa Milano's sex strike, the heartbeat in protest of the Georgia heartbeat law, Hollywood boycott, pro-life activists rallying in Philadelphia to respond to that hysterical state rep, Brian Sims, who accosted a prayerful sidewalk counselor at a Planned Parenthood clinic the other week in his state legislative district. So they're getting ratcheted up on both sides. I'll take a couple more calls before we get to the great Rashida Tlaib.
312-642-5600. Grab a line.
And that was sarcasm about
I know,
Tlaib,
that was, yeah.
as you'll find out. Robert in
until you
Oak
hear
Brook,
it.
you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Yeah, good morning, kids. You know, a friend of mine, she confused her Valiums with her birth control pills and ended up with 9 kids, and she doesn't care.
Okay. Thanks for the call, Robert. She just kept confusing them.
Yeah.
Couldn't get it straight. All right.
Okay.
9 times. Philip on the northwest side.
Hey guys, you know, I hope you guys make a connection to your listening audience, to the Communist Party, the godless parties, the leftist parties, the Golden Billion, and the Luciferians, the Illuminatis, who keep attacking life and keep attacking Christians and keep attacking God's people and telling us how they're going to tax us for having kids. But these are the same people who brought all the social programs to tax us to make sure we pay for everybody else's kids, including refugees and everything else. This never ends. It never ends. And then we're supposed to come up with an excuse for existence. Tell me why we shouldn't make them come up with an excuse why we don't go after them and kill them. Explain this to me.
Yeah, well.
Really? When do we?
Thanks for the
Go
call,
after them and
Philip.
kill them.
Well, yeah. No, it's just an understanding, and I refer back to the Kevin Williamson piece. You should read it. I just tweeted it out at Dan Proft. Just understand this. Feticide is civilizational suicide. You say children are the future's enemies. And that's what you're saying when you're advocating for zero population growth and you're advancing public policy that is penalizing people or would penalize people for having children. When you hear the dizzying intellects like AOC talk about, I don't know if it's moral to have kids. What? I mean, just play it out. It's not that
because
complicated.
Of climate change, we should be responsible and not have children.
Yeah.
That's what I've been taking away from all of her.
I suppose we should take that seriously, not literally, just like her 12-year apocalyptic prediction now was not meant to be taken seriously, or it's not meant to be taken literally, just seriously.
That's right. She was walking that back over the weekend.
Oh, boy. John in Villa Park.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Yeah, if the pro-abortion argument is women want more control of their body, well, I'm sorry. If you get pregnant and have to abort a baby, it doesn't sound like you're in control of your body.
All right, thanks for the call, John. Greg in Schaumburg.
Morning, guys. The only way to understand this is literally human beings that don't know the Lord getting in his face and saying, I am in charge of life, you are not, you do not count. Once they make that achievement, then they are in control of everything. And it's the same thing that we've seen through biblical history, and we're seeing it now again.
Thanks for the call, Greg. All right, switching gears, talking about life. Rashida Tlaib, she's the Democrat socialist from Michigan.
The first Palestinian American to be elected to Congress.
She has invaded before. You may remember her from such pronouncements as we're going to impeach that MFer, talking about President Trump. She's a delicate little flower with a scintillating vocabulary. And very much like her, the Thelma to her Louise, Ilhan Omar, she has some particular feelings about Israelis, Jewish people, history related to Israel and Jewish people, that, I think you'll find rather stunning. This from the Skullduggery podcast, and ironically, this is the Yahoo News podcast, the same Yahoo News podcast that AOC was on. We played a couple weeks ago, where she was trying to come up with the basis for her position that Trump should be impeached, and she included reasons he should be impeached, like because of tax cuts.
Oh, my God. Yeah.
Because
and she could only
of the census.
Two of the three reasons.
So if you thought that was ignorant, you hadn't heard anything yet.
Yeah, she was on, again, Skullduggery, but they asked her about the Holocaust, and she had said that she has a calming feeling.
It's a kind of a calming feeling, I always tell folks, when I think of the Holocaust and the tragedy of the Holocaust and the fact that it was my ancestors, Palestinians, who lost their land and some lost their lives in the name of trying to create a safe haven for Jews post the Holocaust, post the tragedy. And I love the fact that it was my ancestors that provided that, right, in many ways. But they did it in a way that took their human dignity away.
6 million Jewish people murdered. And she said she has a calming feeling.
Well, the calming feeling
is
she says, is because her people provided a safe space for Jewish people. That is not true.
No.
Factually incorrect. First of all, the Jewish presence in the area dates back thousands of years. Secondly, the British government, with the Balfour Declaration in 1917, supported the establishment of a Jewish state in the area, rejected by the Arabs. In 1937, the British Peel Commission proposed a two-state solution to Jews and Arabs, which the Arabs once again rejected because they would not accept any Jewish presence in the region. The Palestinian leader during World War II, the Grand Mufti of Jerusalem, Mohammed Amin al-Husani, met with Adolf Hitler and allied with the Nazis. This from the U.S. Holocaust Memorial Museum. Al-Husani collaborated with the German and Italian governments by broadcasting pro-Axis, anti-British, and anti-Jewish propaganda via radio to the Arab world, inciting violence against Jews and the British authorities in the Middle East, recruiting young men of Islamic faith for service in the German military and auxiliary units. In turn, the Germans and Italians used al-Husani as a tool to inspire support and collaboration among Muslim residents of regions under Axis control and to incite anti-Allied violence and rebellion among Muslims residing beyond the reach of German arms. The PLO, founded in 1964, 3 years before Israel occupied the West Bank in the Six-Day War, were at the heart of the conflicts post-World War II when the Jewish people declared the State of Israel. Right? We know this. Arab leaders encouraged Arab leaders to flee Israel, and of course the nation was invaded by Egypt, Syria, Jordan, Lebanon, Iraq.
Where's Jan Schakowsky this morning? I want to hear from her. I mean, the Republicans want House Speaker Nancy Pelosi to take action against her. This anti-Semitism.
Oh, good. Another
speech.
censure.
Well, they've got to do something.
No, they don't. Why do they have to do something? This is who they are. This is who Ilhan Omar is. This is who Rashida Tlaib is. This is who AOC is. I mean, they joke about having maps in their office that don't have the State of Israel on the map. Ocasio-Cortez, when she sat down in Fireline with Margaret Hoover, she referred to the Palestinian state. There is no Palestinian state, much to her chagrin, apparently. I mean, just with the fighting in Gaza last week, Iranian-backed terrorist organizations attacking Jews who they don't believe have a right to be there. The charter of Hamas, these terrorist organizations, is the extermination of the Jewish people.
That's why I was so surprised when she said that, it's such a calming effect knowing that my ancestors gave the Jewish people a place to live.
Well, she's trying to rewrite history.
Right.
This was nicely summed up by Philip Klein in the Washington Examiner. To sum up, Tlaib claims that her Arab ancestors provided a safe haven to Jews after the Holocaust, ignores the Jewish presence in the region, efforts to establish a Jewish state that predated the Holocaust, ignores that her ancestors allied with Hitler at the time of the Holocaust, and ignores decades of violence and terrorism directed at Israel both before, during, and after the Holocaust. But other than that, thanks for the safe haven.
She should go to the Holocaust Museum in Washington, D.C. She's right there. We went there last week with our 8th grade group, and we're still processing it. I mean, it is sickening and disgusting what she said. And here we go again.
Ed in Oak Brook, you're in Chicago's Morning Answer.
Yeah, you know what? I wouldn't censor this idiot at all, and she is an idiot because you know what? She's doing everyone a favor because it's waking up the humanoids. There's so many humanoids out there, and there's so many Jewish Democratic people that just vote Democrat because their parents did. This might wake them up. So let this lady talk, if you can call her a lady, and just remind her that if she was in Palestine, where her country was ripped off totally by that Arasat guy, whose wife is living large in France right now, that she's a victim. And just let her talk. She's a jerk. Anyway, have a nice day.
Thanks for the call, Ed. I agree with letting him talk. I want people to be clear about who they are. It's so much easier to assess when they're not couching their views, when they're not pretending to be something they're not. So you can be a virulent anti-Semite like Ilhan Omar, or you can rewrite history or attempt to rewrite history like Rashida Tlaib. It tells us a lot about who they are, and then people can make judgment calls based on the merits. So thank you, Rashida Tlaib, for this wonderful display of your ignorance. Thank you, Ilhan Omar, for your running displays of ignorance, and the same for AOC and so many of the other Democrat socialists. I welcome it. Totally agree. Craig in Mount Greenwood.
Oh, hey, Dan and Amy. This Tlaib, she wants to talk about history. She ought to go all the way back in the Bible where it talks about where the Jewish line and the Arab line started. Jacob and Esau, they were brothers. And God said in the Bible, he says, man, that Esau, that's a wild donkey of a man. And and all the promises with the land and everything was made to Jacob. So she ought to really check her history and see where it all stemmed and why the promises are to the Jew. And God said that the Jewish people are the apple of his eye. He who hates Israel I will hate, and he who loves Israel I will love. Bible's loaded with good stuff about the Jewish people.
Thanks for the call. Yeah, that Bible is loaded with good stuff, no question.
The more you listen, the more you'll know. This is Chicago's Morning Answer. On AM 560, The Answer.
Hi, my name's Christina Stumble, and I own Farm Girl Flowers in San Francisco. With my Spark Cash Card from Capital One, I earn unlimited 2% cash back on all my business purchases. Last year, I redeemed $115,000 in cash back. Yeah, $115,000. And that doubled our digital marketing budget for the summer. Thanks to my Spark Card, we had our best summer yet. Imagine what the Spark Card from Capital One could do for your business. What's in your wallet?
Real Capital One customers pay for real stories. Credit approval required.
I'm Sarah Wallace, General Manager at Magnolia Bakery.
Every cake has the backstory of who you're giving this cake to. It's happy birthday, Jessica, or happy sweet 16, Amy, and wanting Amy to have the best sweet 16 that she could ever have. I'm working for a sweeter world, one treat at a time.
At ADP, we're designing a better way to work so you can achieve what you're working for. HR, talent, time, benefits, and payroll, informed by data and designed for people. Learn more at design.adp.com.
With Summerfest approaching, now's the time to fill your son's schedule with athletics, STEM, and academic enrichment camps from Northridge Prep summer programs for boys grades 6 through 8. For the week of July 29 to August 2nd, drop your son off at 9, pick him up at 3 for a full day of fun and new skills. In the morning, investments and personal finance led by 2 entrepreneurial Northridge seniors and small business owners. The camp will teach your son to manage his money and grow it into business opportunities, charitable giving, or whatever project he can dream up. In the afternoon, Guitar 101. It's an introduction to the skills your son will need to be Stevie Ray Vaughan, including rock, blues, classical, and more, all genres. This camp aims to instill a love of music in your son. All skill levels are welcome. Seating and seats are limited for all the camps, and some, like the Dangerous Camp for Boys, are already 100% filled up. So learn more and register online now, today, at northridgeprep.org/summer. That's northridgeprep.org/summer.
Did you miss the open enrollment this year? I can help you purchase a PPO health insurance plan at any time that eliminates the mandatory maternity coverage. This is Tom Marabali, your health insurance advocate and independent producer for Blue Cross Blue Shield of Illinois and other carriers. If you're over 50 and are covered by the Affordable Care Act, you're paying for maternity coverage every month whether you want it or not. In Chicago, the least expensive PPO health insurance plan under the ACA will cost $572 per month with a total out-of-pocket cost of $7,900 before your bills are paid at 100%. I can show you how to eliminate the mandatory maternity coverage and lower your monthly premium to $278 per month with a total out-of-pocket cost of $2,500 before your bills are paid at 100%. That's a savings of $294 a month and over $5,000 with my lower deductible. For a free quote and to see if you qualify, call me, Tom Marabali, at 630-863-3477. That's 630-863-3477.
You know the old saying, the grass is always greener on the other side of the fence. Well, on the other side of the fence is grass from Central Sod Farms. As everything starts to come alive outside, you may be looking at your lawn and scratching your head. You've tried year after year and it's still not a pretty sight. Central Sod can help. When it comes to lawns, one of the best values for your money is sod. It just doesn't make sense to spend all the time and effort working on your lawn, overseeding bare spots, raking, and weed issues. Be done with it and call the professionals at Central Sod. They've been growing beautiful lawns for over 40 years, and you'll get great sod, fast service, and expert how-to advice. Fresh cut sod, always available at one of their 7 sales yards throughout Chicagoland. Or order sod online at centralsod.com for next-day delivery. That's centralsod.com. You can also call 800-310-0402. Central Sod Farms. Real grass, real fast.
You've seen them in some of the finest homes, and now you too can add a beautiful sliding barn door to your home or business with styles that range from rustic to contemporary. Chicago Barn Door Company in Addison has barn doors made with new or authentic barnwood on display at one of the only showrooms of its kind in the area. We can also help you with reclaimed barnwood flooring, accent walls, and fireplace mantles. We cater to homeowners, designers, architects, or anyone that wants to add the warmth and charm of wood accents to their home or business. Chicago Barn Door Company offers expert advice with design, hardware, and installation to your complete satisfaction. Stop by and bring your ideas to the showroom in Addison. We have barn doors, barnwood accent walls, mantles, walnut slabs, and more.
Information and directions are available at chicagobarndoor.com or check us out on Facebook. See, touch, and feel the charm of Barnwood for an experience that you just can't get online at Chicago Barn Door Company, a family-owned business right here in Edison, Illinois. Again, for directions to our showroom, visit chicagobarndoor.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, did you see this? Air New Zealand removed a woman and her travel companion for refusing to watch the airline safety video.
Really?
Yeah.
I knew it would happen.
No, it wasn't a Dr. Dow. It wasn't a crying baby. It was refusing to watch the airline safety video. That's serious business, particularly when you're seated in an exit row.
Oh, they were seated in the exit row?
Ma'am, I need you to say yes. You can't nod your head. I need you to say yes that you're going to
assist in an emergency.
That's
I don't
right.
want anybody weak in the exit row. Sometimes I sit by that door, but I study it to make sure, of how to get out properly in case of an emergency.
But listen to a couple of these offerings from Air New Zealand in terms of their safety videos.
Oh, I want to hear it. Yeah.
Maybe you can understand.
Since we're going to be travelling together, we thought we'd share some safety tips for your journey.
You don't say.
You're going to need to obey all crew member instructions, placards and illuminated signs.
Any loose items should be stowed in the overhead locker or under the seat in front of you.
Hey, we've got room for one more and we've got ice creams.
Thanks, guys.
If the fasten seatbelt sign lights up, return to your seat and make it click. Belts fit low across your hips. You should really keep it on for the whole trip.
Yeah, I mean, that's
cool. Who's doing the better music behind
that accent, though?
Oh, it's a New Zealand accent.
I put my headphones on too and listen to something else.
No, you have to listen.
If you think that's bad,
what?
How about Air New Zealand doing a Run DMC riff? Here's another safety video offering.
Safety is my recital.
I think it's very vital
To rock you so safe. Kiwi safety is the title. It's Kiwi to rock around, that's safe and fly. It's Kiwi. It's Kiwi, Kiwi. It's Kiwi to rock around, that's safe and fly. It's Kiwi. It's Kiwi. Kia ora. Got you flying across the border. You can have a tea or a water. Doesn't matter what you want, let me tell you. These signs you'll be clocking and these placards you'll be watching. Listen, follow these signs. Listen to the crew, you will be fine.
Any loose items be stowed overhead or under the seat.
I thought Southwest Airlines was cool. They're blowing them out of the water.
Return to your seat, buckle up. Cause seatbelts fit low and tight across your hips. Keep it on throughout your trip. If you need to get up, just simply lift the lever. Like this.
If you need some oxygen, mask will fall from above. Pull down on the mask. A simple but important task.
Terrible.
Place over your nose and mouth. Pull on both sides of the elastic. Don't worry if the bag doesn't inflate. It flows like magic. And make sure your mask is fitting legit before you go helping the kids.
I'm so happy that Jam Master Jay was not around to hear that. May he rest in peace. That was it's terrible. It is tricky to rock a rhyme that's right on time, and they didn't do it.
Oh, I thought it was great. Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Dan Crenshaw, our friend from Texas, congressman, says well-intended immigration policies are producing terrible results at the border. We'll have the update at 6:06.
But first, let's head straight into the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
4 fallen CPD officers honored in Washington, D.C. Driver flees after hitting a girl in St. Charles Township. Man charged in a deadly North Chicago shooting. And Cubs top the Brewers while the White Sox power past the Blue Jays. NBA Draft Lottery and NBA Combine this week here in Chicago. Clouds breaking for some sunshine, a high near 60. WIND Chicago News Time, 6 o'clock.
It was supposed to be over, but it's actually gotten worse. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. That's what President Trump tweeted, writing Democrats have gone nuts after the Mueller report showed no collusion with Russia. Fox's Rachel Sutherland live in Washington.
Dave, House Democrats aren't giving up, even though Robert Mueller's much-anticipated testimony is up in the air. House Intelligence Committee Chair Democrat Adam Schiff told ABC's This Week.
The American people have every right to hear what the man who did the investigation
has to say.
Republican Senator Rand Paul accused Democrats of playing politics.
And the best thing we could do at this point is say, let's get on with the country's business.
Democrats threaten to fine Attorney General William Barr up to $25,000 a day unless the Justice Department complies with the subpoena for the unredacted Mueller report. Dave?
Rachel, the president has also tweeted about the China trade dispute, warning if the Chinese retaliate to increased U.S. tariffs, it'll only get worse. He also disputed what even his own economic advisor acknowledged, that U.S. businesses and consumers will pay higher prices. The president wrote there's no reason for the U.S. consumer to pay the tariffs because China subsidizes product to a large degree. Larry Kudlow told Fox.
In my judgment, the economic consequences are so small, but the possible improvement in trade and exports and open markets for the United States, this is worthwhile doing.
Secretary of State Pompeo is headed to Brussels after a last-minute change of plans that were supposed to take him to Moscow. It's a surprise to European leaders who are gathering today to discuss the Iran nuclear deal. They say they'll try to fit in talks with the Secretary of State. WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange, fighting extradition to the U.S. for publishing classified military information, could be in trouble for sex crimes in Sweden.
I have today taken the decision to reopen the preliminary investigation.
That's Deputy Prosecutor Ava Marie Persson. Assange fled to Ecuador's embassy for years to avoid both countries' investigations, but he's since been evicted. Actress Felicity Huffman will plead guilty today in Boston after being caught up in the college admissions scandal. This is Fox News.
Skies are cloudy this morning, 43 degrees at 6:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. Authorities continue their search for the driver of a pickup truck that hit a 7-year-old girl riding a bicycle in St. Charles Township. Kane County Sheriff's Office says a black Dodge pickup ran into that child yesterday near Geneva and Courier Avenues. That truck then drove off. It was found abandoned a few blocks away. The girl airlifted to Lutheran General Hospital with potentially life-threatening injuries. 4 fallen Chicago police officers recognized in Washington, D.C. Superintendent Eddie Johnson spoke with the families of CPD Commander Paul Bauer and other officers' families before they were honored yesterday at the beginning of National Police Week.
In talking to them, they were actually looking forward to this because the entire country will see what great heroes came from their families and the support systems that they have.
The officers' names can now be seen on the National Police Officers Memorial Wall. One person is dead after being struck by a Red Line train on Chicago's north side. The incident happened yesterday near the Bryn Mawr station. The conductor of that train was also hospitalized for non-life-threatening injuries. Bond set at $1.5 million for a man charged with murdering another man earlier this month in North Chicago. Marquez Walker McVeigh appeared in Lake County Court over the weekend in the shooting death of Xavier Collins. Cubs 4-1 winners over the Brewers. White Sox 5-1 winners over the Blue Jays in Toronto. NBA draft lottery tomorrow night in Chicago. The Bulls holding on to a 12% chance, snagging the top spot. The news service of Express Services Incorporated. You work hard and know what it takes to succeed. Now it's time to put that experience to work and launch your business. For a limited time, Express Employment Professionals will give you $25,000 to open your franchise. Get to know Express. Visit expressfranchising.com today. 6:04 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Do you own or run a thriving business in the Chicagoland area? Have you overcome obstacles to make your business what it is today? If that's your business, then AM 560 wants to tell your story on the AM 560 Business Tour, presented by Signature Bank. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson will be broadcasting live from businesses all around Chicagoland, telling success stories of thriving, successful businesses. Hey, if that's you, tell us about it. Visit 560theanswer.com/business and submit your information. That's 560theanswer.com/business.
All money managers might seem the same, but while some give their clients cookie-cutter portfolios, Fisher Investments tailors portfolios to your goals and needs. Some only call when they have something to sell. Fisher calls regularly, so you stay informed. And while some advisors are happy to earn commissions whether you do well or not, Fisher Investments fees are structured so we do better when you do better. In other words, we're on your side. Maybe that's why most of our clients come from other money managers. So if you're in or nearing retirement, talk with us and find out why investors are switching to and staying with Fisher Investments. Fisher Investments. Clearly better money management. Investments in securities involve the risk of loss. Visit us at FisherInvestments.com to find out what we can do for you.
My name is David Hochberg at Team Hochberg. If you're looking to refinance, please call Team Hochberg. Mike, self-employed, lives in a $1 million home in Glenview, called to refinance and combined his $500,000 expiring adjustable rate mortgage and a $100,000 HELOC. Mike planned on moving when his daughter graduates high school in 5 years, so to help Mike afford his constantly increasing and ridiculously expensive real estate taxes, I recommended an interest-only loan. Mike was hesitant at first, but after I explained his monthly payment would decrease over $1,100 a month, he told us to immediately get the ball rolling. If you're interested in lowering your monthly mortgage payment, like Mike, call the local mortgage experts right now on Team Hochberg at 855-56-DAVID or visit 56david.com. Team Hochberg has helped thousands of AM 560 listeners, but we can't help if you don't call 855-56-DAVID. That's 855-56-DAVID or visit 56david.com.
Homeside Financial Equal Housing Lender, Illinois Residential Mortgage Licensee, MB 66761019, NMLS 1124061.
Demand for top talent is at an all-time high, but you can't afford to miss important deadlines. Whether you need help for a day, a week, or months, keep your work on track with highly skilled accounting and finance professionals from Account Temps, a Robert Half company.
6:07, a check on the roads in the AM 560 traffic center with Jim Talamonte.
On the eastbound Adams Toolway, I-90 traffic is heavy from the Tri-State onto the Kennedy, where those delays continue to around Harlem. It's 25 minutes, O'Hare to downtown. Outbound 35, delays from Lawrence to 190. Westbound 190 is stuffed up from Kennedy to Manheim. On Eisenhower, delays from Manheim to Harlem and Cicero to Fern Circle with a new lane configuration. Approaching downtown, it's already 47 minutes, 390 to downtown. Stevenson, 45 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Ryan is 22 minutes from 95th to downtown. I-57, 16 minutes, I-80 to the merge, Mission 421. It's about Reagan Tollway is heavy, York to the Tri-State. That's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte. On AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center, here's Jillian Ford.
Clouds breaking for some sun today with a high of 60. Clear to partly cloudy and chilly tonight with a low of 42. Mostly sunny tomorrow with a high of 68. Clouds and sunshine Wednesday with a high of 71. I'm Jillian Ford on AM 560, The Answer.
44 at O'Hare, 46 along the lakefront. Your next news update, 6:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Don't forget that you can watch Chicago's Morning Answer on the Income Store live video stream every morning at 560theanswer.com.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. April, a record month for apprehensions at the border, according to Customs and Border Protection. 109,000 apprehensions at the southwest border. 99,000 between points of entry, about 10,000 at points of entry. Highest number in 12 years. Will that subside in May? Doesn't look like it. CBP, reported last week that the first week of May, 10,000 apprehensions in the Rio Grande Valley, a new record. During the 30 days in April, there were 36,000 apprehensions in the Rio Grande Valley. So on pace to beat that in May. The problem is so pronounced that Border Patrol has taken the unusual step of using aircraft to relocate migrants from one area to another area along the border. First flight left McAllen, Texas on Friday, transferring detainees to Border Patrol facilities in Del Rio, Texas. There are daily flights scheduled for the next several days, with 2 planned for Tuesday, according to officials who spoke to Texas outlet, the Washington Post, excuse me, officials working in Texas who spoke to the Washington Post on the condition of anonymity. So the continued crisis at the border that we don't want to talk about because Democrat socialists are too busy talking about a constitutional crisis they've invented over the Mueller report. And here's the important piece of this, too. I'm going to make sure this gets discussed for all of those sentimental open border barbarians. What's happening to those attempting to enter this country at the border, migrants at the border? Dan Crenshaw, Republican congressman from Texas, he's the eye patch guy, right? Veteran, eye patch guy. He had this to say on that topic.
People have now started to realize that if they bring a child with them, then they can't be held because of the Flores Agreement from 1997. They can't be held, and they'll be caught, and then they'll be released. And it's really questionable whether they'll ever show back up. All they have to do is say that they're here claiming asylum. And that case will be adjudicated in the far future. So what we have to do is remove those loopholes. We have to allow people to be detained, keep the family together, but keep them there and adjudicate that case quickly. So we need resources to do that. We need more detention space, and we need more immigration judges, and we need to change our asylum laws so that it deters this abuse of the system. It's not fair to legal immigrants. It's not fair to the children who are being dragged across, and it's not fair to the sovereignty of our nation.
Right. It's dysfunctional, upside down, wrong incentives all the way around. Last week, infant drowned in the Rio Grande when overcrowded raft he was on capsized. 3 others, 2 of them children, are feared dead. Days earlier, a 16-year-old boy from Guatemala fell ill and died shortly after arriving at a shelter for unaccompanied children. In December, 2 Guatemalan children, ages 7 and 8, died in Border Patrol custody. Of course, those instances led Democrats to pillory Border Patrol, but it's not Border Patrol.
No, they saw a problem. They took them to the hospital. I know one of those kids died at William Beaumont Hospital in El Paso. They were sick before they got here.
Right, but because of our laws, you're encouraging people to put their children in life and death situations. You also have, as we know, women being sexually assaulted by smugglers paid to keep them safe. Others are extorted by criminal gangs, still others kidnapped, held for ransom, trafficked as sex slaves, pressed in the service of cartels, transporting narcotics over the border. Children are rented or sold to adult migrants to present themselves as a family unit. That's sort of what Crenshaw was getting at.
And there was talk of, and I don't know if they've implemented this yet, but DNA testing, doing a swab of saliva to make sure that dad who claims that that kid's really his child, if that's his child or not, or if he's using him to get into this country.
Yeah, and
that's increasing on a daily basis.
That is coming online. But you still have the border being overrun because you have a political class that doesn't want to do anything about it. It's a real problem. Good piece in the Federalist on the topic. For the past 54 years, America has had no viable guest worker program that would allow low-skilled laborers legally to enter the country, work, send money home to their families, then return safely after a set period. We don't have such a system because U.S. employers would rather exploit cheap illegal labor for profit, and U.S. politicians would rather be seen as compassionate than risk their careers protecting migrant workers. This rank profiteering on the one hand and sanctimonious virtue signaling on the other has defined our politics on immigration for half a century, irrespective of party. Whatever the motives, our governing elite do not have the best interests of foreign citizens in mind, even as the crisis on the southwest border deepens. And, of course, they don't have the best interests of the American people in mind either for all sorts of reasons, including those mentioned by Dan Crenshaw. And, this, I don't know in good economic times how central President Trump aims to make this issue in the general election, because it has been a heat, not light issue. It has been something where there is intensity on both sides of the debate, all sides of the debate, and I think there's more than 2. But it hasn't been something that necessarily animates the votes of a significant enough portion of the population to impose penalties for this 50-year impasse that I just described. So it seems to me that this is going to either have to move up the issues of concern for voters, or you're going to have people that are continue to be released in this country, don't show up for their asylum hearings. We're going to continue to have a burgeoning illegal immigration population, particularly in good economic times. You're going to continue to have migrants exploited, die at the border. You're going to continue to have people in this country who shouldn't be here, committing violent crimes against Americans or other people who shouldn't be here. But anyway, you're letting predators in to this country. We know that is the case. We know we don't do a good job of expelling them and keeping them expelled. So I don't know. It seems to me this is a much bigger issue and a real opportunity for Trump, because he's been such a hardliner on the issue, to restate some of the comprehensive proposals he's advanced, at least at the top line level, and put all 30 Democrat socialist presidential aspirants on defensive on this. Maybe force something to happen on this, even with Pelosi in charge of the Senate. I don't know. I mean, you have some Republicans that are, beholden to the rank profiteering set that was described as well. So it is a multivariate equation. Rich on the north side, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Yes, they've been fighting Trump to fund the border wall because they say it's not that important. It's not a crisis yet. We all know that it is. Yet we probably spend about, upwards of $120 to $150 billion. We're going to do DNA swabs. We're going to do more detention centers. I don't understand in anybody's right mind how the Democratic Party could sit there. They don't want to work with Trump, and he can come up with a new proposal all he wants. They're going to fight him, even if the whole world knew it was the right thing to do. They would still fight him. This to me, these are the people that we have to get rid of. We have to get rid of the whole party. They're shot.
Thanks for the call, Rich. Well, here's the thing. I think President Trump can also do something he's loath to do, and perhaps exercise a little humility on the topic. I thought we could have gotten something done in a bipartisan way. So perhaps I didn't press a solution to this issue when I had a political advantage in my first 2 years, meaning Republicans controlling the House and the Senate. But let me tell you, folks, I got a lot of Republicans that are on board for rethinking how we do immigration policy in such a way that it makes sense with respect to the humane treatment of migrants, and it makes sense with respect to the protection and interests of the American people. So I made a bit of a miscalculation, but we can't afford to have Democrat socialists on the sidelines just taking pot shots. So to me, this is a play not just for President Trump in 2020, but for House Republicans to take back the House. The only way we're going to get something done based on the conduct of Pelosi and her crew is if you remove Pelosi and her crew from the majority. It's the only way. So I'll take my mea culpa on perhaps what more that could have been done in the first 2 years. And I continue to try, and I continue to try, and I continue to extend olive branches, and I got my hand slapped. But I'll take my share of the blame for not getting as much done as we need to get done, because I'm the President of the United States, and that's where the buck stops. But let me tell you, you've seen what they will do unless you punish them for their mindless intransigence, for their unseriousness with respect to the border, for their lack of concern for the well-being of Americans and migrants alike, then this is going to continue. So that's something you should think about as you think about who you're going to vote for in 20.
It sounds beautiful, but I don't think President Trump would do it, because he'd have to be admitting that he miscalculated. Maybe it would sound like a mistake.
Yeah. I mean, I think...
But we all make mistakes. It's okay.
Well, I know. And also, too, because of his persona, you don't want to always sort of play down to people's expectations of you, or even just play to them, not up or down. surprise them a little bit. A little humility could go a long way on this issue. It's certainly warranted. Paul in New Lenox.
Hi, guys. Thanks for taking my call. Dan, what you just said was perfect. I hope it was done, out on a USA Today page or something like that. We could put it out there. But my comment was, I heard that, I don't know if you heard this either, but that movie Elysium with Matt Damon, I heard it was changed to the United States and just flooded all over the southern part of the border to Guatemala. I think Hollywood's mistake there because too many people get an idea that this is the place they want to come. So we should change our country to the United States of
Elysium. All right. Thanks, Paul. And oh, by the way, maybe this is an opportunity to try to press the issue. We're going to talk about this in more detail at the top of the 7 o'clock hour with the former FBI Deputy Director for the National Counterterrorism Center, Kevin Brock. But another Islamic terror compound on U.S. soil.
Oh, yeah, and this one was in Alabama.
Right.
It was similar to what they had going in New Mexico, where there was obstacle courses and things for them to train in.
Siraj Wahaj, same guy that was behind the New Mexico compound, behind this compound in Macon County, Alabama. Wahaj and 4 others were indicted on terrorism, kidnapping, and firearm violations earlier this year. But yes, this is another training center. The agent, a former FBI agent, talking about this center. So just because you live in a small town or a small state doesn't mean you might not potentially have individuals engaged in the types of activities that would call into question threats to national security.
It was a jihad training center.
Yeah. So again, it's not bad enough that you have cases like Kate Steinle. Now you're talking about being distracted such that you can't even keep organized terrorist enclaves from setting up shop in America. Maybe that'll get people's attention. Tony in Downers Grove.
Well, Dan, always good talking points, but they're going to fall on deaf ears. The Republicans in the Congress and the Senate should be front and center on this issue in every media outlet available. We say this over and over again, and they're just not going to do that. It's just not going to happen. It's pitiful. It's like asking our senators and congressmen in the state of Illinois to stand up for issues. It just doesn't happen.
Yeah, thanks for the Tony. Thanks for the call, Tony. I understand the frustration, and Tony's description is the reality, but there's a market opportunity there. Dan Crenshaw in Texas is talking about it. It just takes a couple of voices, maybe sometimes just one voice, to crystallize it effectively and generate more attention and hopefully more action. But I agree. I'm frustrated too.
Before you see it on TV, share it on Facebook, or read about it in the paper, hear it here first. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Hey everyone, Ken here. For 2 years now, you've heard Carrie and I use metaphors to test to see if you think your home or your business could use a revenue shot in the backside. Today, because of our new website, I can be a little bit more direct. Income Store has 2 doors. If you have more time than money, you're going to live under door number 1. You're going to see over 400 digital assets, 5 to 20 minutes apiece, that'll teach you how to manage numbers and lead people, or show you 6 growth tips you've never heard of. All of this so you can start growing your home or your business revenue literally immediately. If you have more money than time, door number 2 is going to be for you. You can view some of our managed services, look for more done-for-you packages. 34% of Americans in 2018 visited one of our managed services. Forbes 3 years in a row quoted, Income Store is an expert at generating home or business revenue. If you'd love to explore how to check out adding revenue to your home or business, just go to incomestore.com. That's incomestore.com.
Get ready to golf. We still have some foursomes available for our upcoming golf outing that is benefiting the 100 clubs of Chicago, DuPage, and Will counties. And many of you have asked, do I need to be a business owner to golf with you? The answer is no. Anyone can join us and golf on Monday, June 24th at the Mistwood Golf Club in Romeoville, presented by Clear Financial Strategies. Just call 312-363-6680. That's 312-363-6680. Again, anyone can join us for a great day of golf. And if you are a business owner or make the marketing decisions for your company, the Business Benefactor Program is still available. You purchase a foursome for $1,196, and as a way of saying thank you, we'll give you 25 60-second commercials to promote your business right here on AM 560, Monday through Friday. And it's a $3,000 advertising value for just $1,196. It's really a great way to take your business to the next level. And again, a portion of the proceeds will benefit the 100 clubs that provide financial and educational assistance to the families of fallen first responders. It's a win-win. So call today to reserve your foursome, 312-363-6680. That's 312-363-6680. Or learn more at 560theanswer.com/golf.
Message and data rates may apply.
Do you want to learn how to get started making money flipping houses right here in Chicago? If so, we have an amazing opportunity for you. We're looking for a small group of motivated individuals to join our real estate investing team. You'll be introduced to our 3-step system for flipping homes right here in the local area. This is Than Merrill, star of A&E's hit TV show Flip This House. My team and I are looking for a handful of people in the Chicago area who want to learn how to get started making money flipping houses in your spare time using other people's money. Chicago is a perfect market for my system, and next week I'm holding a free 2-hour educational workshop where we'll share how to get started making money flipping houses and how to build long-term wealth with income properties.
To get 2 free tickets to Than's workshop, text your 5-digit zip code to 82,000. Seating is extremely limited, so text your 5-digit zip code to 82,000. Text in the next 10 minutes, and you'll also reserve a free copy of Than's Money for Deals guide. Just text your zip code to 82,000.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, you a fan of those celebrity chef cookbooks? You got Peyton making you steak for Mother's Day. I figure maybe.
Nah, I'm not a big fan of it.
No.
I don't like cookbooks.
Yeah.
It involves numbers and math, Dan. I just like to feel my way through the meal.
I've tasted your cooking, so I could concur.
No,
You don't
my
like
meatloaf
cookbooks.
is good. No, I'm a pretty good cook. Meatloaf, Italian beef. Hey, the Italians, huh?
Well, if you are into celebrity chef cookbooks,
Yes.
you may want to know how many animals are killed
For my meal.
to fulfill their recipes. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So
mhm.
if I have a breast of chicken,
This is
how many chickens?
This is from the Animal Rights Kingdom, of course. They rank them by celebrity chef. Number 1 in total deaths. The cookbook. Yeah, ready?
Chicken.
No, the number 1
Oh, the
celebrity
one-
chef.
Oh.
She's been deposed. Give you a
Um,
hint. Italy.
Who?
Italy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mario Batali, exactly.
Yes.
620 deaths total in Mario Batali's Molto Gusto, Easy Italian
Hey,
Cooking.
molto gusto.
The leading species, glass eels, 567. What? Yeah, eels.
Glass eels?
Guy likes his eels.
Gross. I don't like eating eel.
Number 2 is Susurli.
Who?
Oh. 268 total deaths.
What? And what's the
188 squab is the leading species.
squab?
Yeah.
These squab?
You don't know what a squab is?
I'm Googling it right now.
It's a bird. It's
Is
like,
that my word for the day?
yeah, it's,
Squab. Oh, pigeon.
yeah.
Gross.
There you're here, right there. Gordon Ramsay,
Oh, boy.
127 total deaths. Gordon
Cows.
Ramsay's fast food recipes from the F word.
Cows.
No.
Chicken.
71 anchovies. Oh,
Not
the anchovies.
Please, no.
Who
Please,
saves the anchovies? But yeah, it's mostly chickens, but they're all here. Rick Bayless.
Oh, yeah. What's he in for?
Mexican Every Day from 2005.
Cows.
32 total deaths in the Bayless Killing Book. 17 chickens.
Oh. And the rest is
Don't you find this fascinating?
cows?
I find it fascinating that somebody went through to do this. Yeah, chickens by far get the worst of it. No question about it. Yeah.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
In Illinois, we're all for the Green New Deal. Except if you buy an electric car, because the political class needs their money at 6:36.
And later, sanity reigns. Win-win for women. We'll explain. But first, into the newsroom we go. Here's Mike Scott.
Mostly cloudy skies, 44 degrees. Authorities are looking for the driver of a pickup truck this morning that struck a 7-year-old girl riding a bicycle in St. Charles Township. Kane County Sheriff's Office says a black Dodge pickup ran into the child yesterday near Geneva and Courier Avenues and drove off. That truck was found abandoned a few blocks away. The girl airlifted to Lutheran General Hospital with potentially life-threatening injuries. President Trump warning that if China does not reach a fair trade deal with the U.S., companies will continue to flee China because of increased tariffs. Meantime, the chief trade negotiator for the U.S. says we need to stay strong.
We want to be as sure as we can be. We don't think the Chinese have come far enough. We'll wait and see. The talks will continue.
On Friday, the president raised tariffs from 10 to 25% on $200 billion worth of Chinese imports. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo calling off his planned visit to Moscow. He'll still be meeting with Russian President Vladimir Putin later this week. Swedish authorities are reopening a rape investigation into WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange. The allegations stem from 2 women in 2010. A Savannah, Georgia police officer shot Saturday night has died overnight. The Georgia Bureau of Investigation says the suspect opened fire on 2 officers. Sergeant Calvin Ansari died while being hospitalized. The other officer has been treated and released. Police here in Chicago have identified the man killed in a police shooting over the weekend on the west side. Sherelle Brown was stopped by officers Saturday in the 1400 block of North Lawndale, and an armed confrontation ensued. Brown took off running from that confrontation, and a second armed confrontation took place a short time later. The incident is under investigation. The officers involved will be placed on administrative duties for 30 days. Actress Peggy Lipton, star of The Mod Squad and Twin Peaks, has died. Her daughter is announcing her passing in a statement to the LA Times. She was 72. Lipton became a star when she was 21 as the smart flower child, Julie Barnes, in the ABC hit Mod Squad. Lipton returned to acting with the role of Norma Jennings in the television series Twin Peaks. Cubs 4-1 winners over the Brewers at Wrigley Field. Lucas Giolito and Tim Anderson combined to lift the White Sox over the Blue Jays 5-1. The news service of Panera Bread. At Panera, breakfast to go no longer means to settle. Wake up with a new maple glaze, bacon, scrambled egg and cheese breakfast wrap, and a Madagascar vanilla cold brew, all ready to go with the push of a button. Panera, food as it should be. 6:33, a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher explains the next media meltdown.
I don't think people care what happened from 1985 to 1994, but the media hysteria is ever present. Breaking down. Oh my gosh, he's a con man. What, he's a con man because a guy who made billions over the course of his lifetime had a 9-year period where he lost money? What a shocker.
The Mike Gallagher Show. Weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
When it's cold outside, you can dress for it. But when your furnace gives out, hey, a blanket fort can only do so much. So call your local 1-Hour Heating and Air Conditioning. We'll replace your old furnace with a new high-efficiency one. And that beats a bunch of blankets any day. Right now, cozy up to big savings on a complete heating system. Call 855-1-HOUR.
Your comfort is just a call away. Call 1-Hour.
Terms and conditions may apply. Call for details. Independently owned and operated. Licensed in the respective state or county.
This is Dr. Howard, founder and formulator of Balance of Nature. We're changing America one life at a time.
All the years I spent with junky vitamins, it did nothing. And these vitamins are just like the best in the whole world. I don't take anything else other than them. When I first started, I was just very, always fatigued and tired. Within 2 days, I felt like a new person. I felt like I was in a different body. I listen all the time on the radio when I'm in the car with commercials about Balance of Nature, and it's really true. Everything really, really works. So I am sold.
Talk to a Balance of Nature health coach today and see if getting the nutrition from over 10 servings of fruits and vegetables can make a difference in your life. Use discount code CHICAGO to receive free shipping on every order. Call 800-2468-751 or go to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
Sutton Transport is having a career fair at their terminal at 4711 Lawndale Avenue in Lyons, Illinois. Today, from 4 to 8 p.m., Sutton Transport is hiring for a variety of CDL Class A driving positions, including local and regional routes. Applications will be available with interviews held on-site. Sutton offers career advancement opportunities, consistent schedules, full benefits package, and newer equipment. To check out careers, go to suttontrans.com. Sutton Transport is an equal opportunity employer. Check out Ground Game, the latest podcast from the Associated Press discussing the top political issues around the country. Available on Apple Podcasts.
It is 6:36. Let's check the roads in the AM 560 Traffic Center with Jim.
On the northbound tri-state this morning, traffic is stop and go from 95th Street to the 83rd Street Toll Plaza, Plainfield Road to the Hinsdale Oasis, and from the Reagan Tollway to past the Eisenhower. But Adams Tollway is bottled up from the tri-state onto the Kennedy. Reagan Tollway is heavy from 22nd of the tri-state. On the Kennedy, those delays continue from the Adams Tollway to around Lawrence. We're looking at a travel time of 30 minutes. O'Hare to downtown. Outbound 40. Delays starting at Lawrence. Westbound 190 is heavy. On Eisenhower, delays start at Wolf. It is 50 minutes. 390 to downtown. It's a new lane configuration approaching the circle. Stevenson already 56 minutes. 355 for Lakeshore Drive. Ryan 28 minutes for 95th. That's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte. On AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1-hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center. Clouds will break for some sunshine today, a high near 60. Right now, we can see the clouds letting a little sunshine through, and a high of with a temperature of 44 right now, 46 along the lakefront. Your next news update is at 7. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Watch today's show live right now on the Income Store live video stream at 560theanswer.com.
Listen to podcasts of Joe Walsh and Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on the AM 560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. Oh, this is nice. It's outrageous, said Nicoletta Scarlatos, Tesla Model S owner. I thought Illinois was progressive and would want to encourage EV, electric vehicle ownership. Oh, aren't you just so darling? Oh, you're cute. Oh. Ms. Scarlatos responding to a proposed hike in Illinois' annual registration fee for electric vehicles from $17.50 to $1,000.
What? That's quite the jump.
Uh-huh. They don't like it. The Tesla owners, the EV owners. Because I thought Illinois was progressive. What happened? Welcome to the party, Nicoletta. You thought you were insulated from the ruling class's appetites. Oh, come here. A lot of talk about the constitutional amendment to graduate the state's income tax. Paying any attention to the gas tax proposal? Two bills kicking around Springfield would more than double the per gallon motor fuel tax, setting the state tax level to 44 cents from 19 cents.
A gallon?
Over the 4 years, over the next 5 years. Yes. Mm-hmm.
So we go 20 to 44 cents. All right.
19 to 44 to be specific, but yeah. That would come on top of the layers of local gasoline taxes, special fees, sales taxes.
Well, you had a great idea. I think it was about a month ago. I mean, you always have great ideas,
Of course.
but you said that when we go to fill up our tank, that we should get a printout of exactly what is going where, that the tax is taxed on our gasoline.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. We should. The typical Chicagoan's gasoline bill.
Yeah.
tab at the pump. Federal motor fuel tax, 18.4%. State underground storage and environmental fees of 1 cent. Sales taxes that total 10.25%. 6.25 state, 1.25 Chicago, 1.75 Cook County, 1% RTA. And then more state and local motor fuel excise taxes. 19-cent state motor fuel tax, 5-cent Chicago motor fuel tax, 6-cent Cook County motor fuel tax. Oh, by the way, under discussed is that in this legislation that's pending would allow the collar counties to add their own gas tax up to 8 cents per gallon for counties. Municipalities could also add up to 3 cents per gallon. So, I mean, you're talking about significant dollars. For some people, depending on how much you drive, you could be talking about paying more in increased gas taxes than you would see in increased income taxes.
Oh my God. I mean, this is why I know 2 people, Dan, who've just ditched their cars and take Uber and Lyft everywhere. Because with, insurance, the gas tax, filling up your tank, vehicle renewal registration is going to double. And why even own a car?
Pennsylvania right now is the state with the nation's highest overall gas tax burden. That would change if these bills were passed. That would make Illinois number one. Number one, because what's gas tax? That's people paying their fair share? Or is it, oh, wait a second, is that a regressive tax because people who make less money spend more of their money commuting, thus more of their money, their income on gasoline, generally speaking? So sticking it to the 1% or the 2% to provide relief for the 98%, is that what you think is happening in Illinois or going to? Are you like Nicoletta Scarlato's? Wait a second. Illinois is progressive.
Well, going from $1,750 to $1,000.
Yeah, why not? Why not?
That's a big.
You know why? Because hey, you're using the roads. Yeah. We're not sticking it to you with the gas tax, so we got to get you somehow.
Would you ever own an electric vehicle?
No. And by the way,
I'm sick of them taking up the prime parking spots too.
Well, here's the other thing too. In classic Illinois fashion. They subsidize the purchase of electric vehicles on the front end, and now they're going to take it back on the back end if they were to increase the annual registration fee to $1,000. The subsidy, Illinois, 50% of the cost of equipment and installation of charging equipment. This rebate is up to $37.50 per network single charging station, $3,000 per non-network single station. So they're incentivizing the purchase by providing you a tax credit on the charging station, and then they're going to turn around and jack you. With the registration. So you think, they're incentivizing Illinois is so progressive, like Miss Scarlato said, until they whack you on the back end because, hey, toots, I need the money. Have you driven down 57 lately? 57
is worse than I-65 in Indiana.
57 going from the Dan Ryan, from about, when you get off onto 57, from about 127th Street to
where?
I mean, just about to Flossmoor Road, but maybe not quite that far, to 80. There is a rivulet through the middle lane.
It's a death wish.
They should have canoe rentals if you wanted to.
Costa Rican highway.
I mean, there literally is just like a rift that goes from miles and miles on end.
But it's been there for a while. No one's fixing it. I mean, last summer.
Because you're not paying enough in taxes.
Oh, that's right. And you electric car owners, you need to pay your fair share.
Oh, by the way, just so you think that. The electric vehicles, they're going to get it, and that means I don't have to. Wrong. Also, the state, the bills that are pending would charge a registration fee for standard Illinois passenger vehicle. That there's also proposals to increase that. $50 surcharges on top of the annual registration fee for passenger vehicles and motorcycles, as well as the $50.
Yeah.
As well as raised by $50 the registration fee for antique cars and commuter vans. Everybody gets hit. Everybody gets hit. So you think you're getting a subsidy on the front end and you get whacked in the back end. You're not getting anything on the front end. You're just getting whacked on the front end and the back end. Those are the categories that are available to you. Kevin in Northfield, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hate has no home. Home has no equity.
Yes.
Sean came home from the shop, and his wife was there. He had a Macanudo, and the wife said, "How dare you bring that smelly, foul thing in here?" And she was talking to the cigar.
Okay, thanks, Kevin.
All right.
I guess
what do you have to say to that, Dan?
He's referencing Sean from Elmwood Park. It would be
I
nice
think so.
to establish some premise so that people other than me would know who the hell you're talking about. But okay. Mike on the north side.
Hey, Mike.
Good morning, Dan. Good morning, Amy. I can't believe you don't see the play here. They're going to say they're going to raise it 1,000, but then one of their liberals that wants to run for a promotion is going to step up and make noise and drop it to 400, and they're going to be a hero. And they're going to talk about raising the license plate to $100, and one of their other heroes who wants to run for a promotion is going to step up, and they're going to knock it down to 50. And they're going to say, "See, we saved you," knowing they were going to steal in the end anyway. Dan, I wanted to ask you, did you get a sponsor for your golf outing yet?
I don't know, Mike. Mike, would you like that? Would you like to be that sponsor?
Well, no. You see, I don't golf. I think it's a waste of time.
I see.
But Dan, I just want to, get your hopes up. Don't worry. You'll find some computer nerd that you had a lot in common with. You were both recording secretary of the high school Gilbert and Sullivan Society or president of your audiovisual club, and you'll have a lifelong friend. But you're doing this wrong. This is Chicago. You're trying to raise money for charity. Instead of just charging two foursomes extra money to golf with you and Amy, what you have to do in the Chicago way is extort every other foursome. Say, listen, unless you cough up more money, we're going to put Bruce Wolf with you. Unless you cough up more money, we're going to put Philip from Blue Island with you.
Yeah, thanks for the call.
Oh, and if you want to sign up for our golf tournament, 312-363-6680. Can't say the number enough right now.
Yeah, he's got a point, Mike, on the north side. This is a community that doesn't respond to carrots, only sticks. I agree with that. Vic on the north side.
Yeah, Dan, this is a passing fancy, as they used to say about the movie industry when it first started. You're going to be on the Dan Ryan Expressway in the wintertime with an electric car, stalled in traffic. Your heater will be on, your defroster, stop and go. You're going to be running out of electricity. It can't be done. You're going to have your lights on, your wipers on. This is all draining a fuel source that's deplenished as you sit there stalled. And now what? It's not good. My great-grandkids are going to be driving cars with fossil fuel.
Yeah, thanks for the call, Vic.
Connect with Dan and Amy on the AM 560 The Answer mobile app. Just text the word app to 64636 to download the app today.
I'm Lou Dobbs. The Pentagon transfers $1.5 billion to build the wall on the southern border. Delta Airlines begins free Wi-Fi tests today. Walmart ditches Brazil e-commerce. Those stories next.
If you are a timeshare owner, please listen to this message. I'm Karen, owner of Lone Star Transfer. If you are an unhappy timeshare owner, you probably want to get out of it as smoothly and rapidly as possible. Put this on your spring clean to-do list. Give us a call and let us do for you what we have done for over 8,000 others across the country. Our process is legal, ethical, and best of all, it's done quickly. Lone Star Transfer is a family-owned business, and we have an A-plus rating with the Better Business Bureau and a 99% success rate. We will personally make sure your experience is a pleasant one. Don't let another day go by living under the burden and expense of your unwanted timeshare. Start your spring cleaning today by giving us a call for a no-obligation consultation at 844-284-4863. That's 844-284-4863. Or visit us online at LoneStarTransfer.com.
Defense Secretary-designate Patrick Shanahan authorized the transfer of $1.5 billion to build more than 80 miles of barriers on the U.S.-Mexico border. He says $600 million of the money comes in savings from accounts for Afghan security forces. There are already 5,000 members of the U.S. military serving along the Mexican border. Beginning today, passengers on Delta Airlines, part of a 2-week test. The carrier offering free Wi-Fi service, and the free Wi-Fi flights will change daily. Delta will determine whether enough passengers use the service to justify it system-wide. Walmart closing its e-commerce operations in Brazil. The giant retailer says it will concentrate on brick-and-mortar stores in South America. Please join me for Lou Dobbs tonight, 7 o'clock and 10 Eastern on the Fox Business Network. This is the Lou Dobbs Financial Report.
This is epic. Our friend Mike Lindell, the MyPillow guy, has authorized us to make the best offer ever on radio or TV. It's for a limited time only. You can get a 2-pack of premium MyPillows for only $69.98. That's only $34.99 per pillow.
Can you also get a biggie?
A biggie?
2-pack.
Again, it's the lowest price ever offered in the history of MyPillow. So if you've procrastinated and don't own a MyPillow yet, or already know why this is the pillow everybody wants and loves because you have one, then here's the best offer ever. And by the way, you can still get 30% off pet beds, mattress toppers, and those Giza cotton sheets that I love so much. So act now to get this brand new, absolutely lowest price ever offered of 2 premium MyPillows for only $69.98. Go to MyPillow.com, use promo code Amy, MyPillow.com. Or call 800-489-0201. That's 800-489-0201. Either way, use the promo code Amy.
Are your windows needy?
Call Crumweedy.
Hi, it's Mike Gallagher. If you need windows, call the exterior experts, Crumweedy. Mark Olson and Greg Olson of Crumweedy run a third-generation family business that's been doing Chicagoland exteriors since 1953. For them, it's all about trust. They truly share your values. Why windows from Crumweedy? Crumweedy windows are not offered anywhere else in Chicagoland. They're exclusive. That's why they can offer a lifetime material and labor installation guarantee. Lifetime! That's a great investment for your home. Windows from Crumweedy are Energy Star rated, unlike most other windows. Also, the vinyl windows are 100% virgin vinyl. You're getting quality. Windows with a lifetime material and labor installation. If your windows are needy,
call Crumweedy.
630-595-8020. That's 630-595-8020. Just remember this, windowsareneedy.com. Windowsareneedy.com.
Hi, my name's Christina Stumble, and I own Farm Girl Flowers in San Francisco. With my Spark Cash Card from Capital One, I earn unlimited 2% cash back on all my business purchases. Last year, I redeemed $115,000 in cash back. Yeah, $115,000. And that doubled our digital marketing budget for the summer. Thanks to my Spark Card, we had our best summer yet. Imagine what the Spark Card from Capital One could do for your business. What's in your wallet?
Real Capital One customers pay for real stories. Credit approval required.
I'm Sarah Wallace, General Manager at Magnolia Bakery.
Every cake has the backstory of who you're giving this cake to. It's happy birthday, Jessica, or happy sweet 16, Amy, and wanting Amy to have the best sweet 16 that she could ever have. I'm working for a sweeter world, one treat at a time.
At ADP, we're designing a better way to work so you can achieve what you're working for. HR, talent, time, benefits, and payroll, informed by data and designed for people. Learn more at design.adp.com.
Message and data rates may apply. Please don't text while driving.
If you've been in business more than 20 minutes, you've probably printed your logo on all kinds of promotional products. We all know promotional products work because they're everywhere from sales meetings and corporate events to trade shows. Ever wondered why or how to best use promotional products to grow your business? Let us show you today for free. We're 4imprint, promotional product experts at your service. We're giving away an ebook called Promotional Products Work, absolutely free, to everyone who texts radio to 88988. At 4imprint, we make your logo look perfect on thousands of promotional items. With our 100% guarantee, it'll be right the first time, on time, every time. Your free ebook will reveal valuable insights that can attract new customers, build your brand, help your cause, or simply grow your business. Get the ebook Promotional Products Work absolutely free by texting radio to 88988. That's RADIO to 88988.
AM 560. The Answer.
Dan and Amy, look, I'm no fan of the Kate Moss body type. I don't like the wayfish thing. And I know there are periods in Western Civ where the more Rubenesque woman was au courant. But I think Sports Illustrated is taking it a bit too far, Amy. I'll let you be the judge of this, so it's just not the male chauvinist pig talking on the topic.
You need to get a woman's opinion on this.
There's no question. Look, if you want to know how far diversity for its own sake takes you off the rails of sanity, you need look no further than Sports Illustrated. After featuring a woman in a burkini.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen those.
Sports Illustrated swimsuit now featuring a morbidly obese bikini model. Her name is Hunter McGrady, and she says, "For too long we've heard talk that we need that we need diversity in media, but what exactly does that look like? The concept of diversity encompasses acceptance and respect. It means understanding that an individual is unique, blah, 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 a bunch of can't. Differences of race, gender, blah, 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 blah. Exposure to diversity is the catalyst that will ignite tolerance, acceptance, and understanding, blah, 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 blah."
Don't redact anything from me, blah, blah, blah.
But this is like a bunch of...
let me see the
there's
picture.
a bunch of words that don't mean anything.
Dear Lord.
That is not a sperm whale. That's Hunter McGrady. And she's washed up on the beach. Those are, I think those are barnacles on her. Yeah, what do you think?
I think she's one cheeseburger away from having a heart attack, if you want my honest opinion.
You can't see because this is radio, but
if you can imagine.
Think about Chris Christie in a one piece with a blonde wig on.
And then the pose is crawling up the shore on the belly.
I think it's because she is not physically able to walk.
Stop it. I mean, it's that, and then also just in time for Mother's Day, this group of mom bloggers showed off their postpartum bodies. Did you see that picture? There was 4 of them, and they've become friends by blogging about postpartum, but they're in 2 pieces and just some things we don't need to see.
I just had a Krispy Kreme, so I'd like to keep it down.
I mean, I don't know, this whole look at me society that we live in now. Enough. I don't need to look at your stretch marks on your stomach. I don't need to see please.
I couldn't give it down.
I don't need to see the, here we go now. Down this path of the vomit.
It's gonna be stand by me again. It's the chain reaction.
I mean, I know, look, we all have, I'm not the same, not in the same shape that I was 10 years ago, but thanks to Balance of Nature, I'm getting there slowly. But we don't need to show everybody everything. We don't need to, promote obesity as that swimsuit model is doing right there.
Everything is the same.
She's got to be at least 400 pounds.
Everybody should be equally celebrated and regaled with bon mots about their uniqueness and blah, blah, blah. Holy cow. That's
going to be in the sports, that's in the upcoming issue.
I think it's the only picture that is in it because it's
going to stop.
Woo. Hunter,
it's one person tweeted out, my mother died when she was 40 years old because of health, issues related to obesity. We should not celebrate this.
Yeah. Is it fat shaming? Yeah, it is. Get used to it. Get used to people making judgment calls. Get used to not everything being equally celebrated.
You want to sit next to her on a plane? Really? Do you? She's the type of person that has to buy 2 seats.
Rose.
Here now is Mike Scott. Take it away, Mike. Have fun.
Partly sunny skies this morning. Nicer weather for this week on the way. WIND Chicago News Time 7.
The Secretary of State has arrived in Brussels. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. After a last-minute change of plans for Mike Pompeo not to go to Moscow, but instead join European leaders who are holding talks about the Iran nuclear deal, Fox's Simon Owen monitoring live from London.
Dave, Britain's top diplomat voicing concern about rising tensions between the US and Iran.
We are very worried about the risk of a conflict happening by accident.
Foreign Secretary Jeremy Hunt saying he'll raise those concerns with Mike Pompeo.
And I think what we need is a period of calm to make sure that everyone understands what the other side is thinking.
The US has sent extensive military assets to the Middle East in recent days, accusing Iran of making threats. Dave?
Simon, not long after the U.S. had warned Iran or its proxies could be targeting ships in the Middle East, Saudi Arabia is saying 2 of its oil tankers were attacked at sea off the United Arab Emirates coast, causing significant damage. One was slated to take oil to the U.S. Iran is warning of a conspiracy orchestrated by its ill-wishers. Still no tariff retaliation announced yet by China.
The longer we're involved in a tariff battle or a trade war, the better chance there is that we could actually enter into a recession because of it.
Republican Senator Rand Paul on ABC's This Week. The White House economic advisor acknowledges U.S. businesses and consumers will pay higher prices because of higher tariffs, but President Trump tweeted there's no reason for the U.S. consumer to pay more, adding China is in danger of companies leaving to go to other countries. On Wall Street, stocks could plunge again, Dow futures down over 300 points. Special counsel Mueller will not testify this week about his investigation and final report as House Democrats keep up the pressure on the Trump administration with subpoenas. House Intelligence Committee Chair Adam Schiff told ABC.
A president having obstructed the Justice Department investigation, now obstructing Congress, does add weight to impeachment.
And the president tweeted Democrats have gone nuts. It should be over. He maintains the report showed no collusion or obstruction. This is Fox News.
Skies are partly sunny. We have 45 degrees at 7:02 on AM 560 The Answer. And good morning. I'm Mike Scott. Authorities continue searching for the driver of a pickup truck that hit a 7-year-old girl riding a bicycle in St. Charles Township. Kane County sheriffs tell us a black Dodge pickup ran into that child yesterday near Geneva and Courier Avenues. The truck drove off and was found abandoned a few blocks away. The girl airlifted to the hospital with potentially life-threatening injuries. Police have identified the man killed in a police shooting over the weekend on Chicago's west side as Sherelle Brown, who was stopped by officers Saturday in the 1400 block of North Lawndale, and an armed confrontation ensued. The officers involved have been placed on administrative duties for 30 days. A Chicago man is accused of calling 911 multiple times and falsely reporting that officers had been shot. Terrence King Jr. appeared in court yesterday on a felony count of disorderly conduct. Prosecutors say King was arrested Friday after using his own cell phone to call in 10 bogus reports. A rapper is dead after a shooting at a nightclub in Miami-Dade County. 24-year-old Amir Golston, who performs as AAB, was killed in Saturday's shooting in Miami Beach's Cameo nightclub. No arrest has been announced. With the coming summer, Indiana Dunes National Park says visitors can now reserve campsites beginning this Wednesday. In past years, all 66 sites at the Dunewood campground were available on a first-come, first-served basis. Under new rules, 34 sites can be reserved up to 6 months in advance. Cubs over the Brewers 4-1. White Sox beat the Blue Jays 5-1. NBA draft lottery tomorrow night here in Chicago, and the Bulls have a 12% chance of snagging the top spot. The news service of accountants, overworked and understaffed, facing unexpected turnover. Accountants provides highly skilled, temporary professionals exactly when you need them most, from payroll managers and bookkeepers to senior accountants. Accountants, a Robert Half company. 7:04 on AM 560. It is time for a dry basement and a healthy home. Time to call Permaseal, 800-421-SEAL. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Without the rule of law, we're nothing.
The Joe Walsh Show.
And what makes me sad today is it's all tribal. What side you on? Right now, we got a king in the White House. We got a guy who believes that the laws don't apply to him. And so we're asked all the time, are you with him or are you against him? I'm with the Constitution. I believe in open and transparent government. I believe in a government that leaves me the hell alone. What team does that put me on? Whose tribe am I a part of?
The Joe Walsh Show. Weeknights starting at 5, right before Larry Elder at 7 on AM 560. The Answer.
All money managers might seem the same,
But while some give their clients cookie-cutter portfolios, Fisher Investments tailors portfolios to your goals and needs. Some only call when they have something to sell. Fisher calls regularly, so you stay informed. And while some advisors are happy to earn commissions whether you do well or not, Fisher Investments fees are structured so we do better when you do better. In other words, we're on your side. Maybe that's why most of our clients come from other money managers. So if you're in or nearing retirement, talk with us and find out why investors are switching to and staying with Fisher Investments. Fisher Investments. Clearly better money management. Investments in securities involve the risk of loss. Visit us at FisherInvestments.com to find out what we can do for you.
Hi, this is Amy Jacobson. Spring is the perfect time to take notice of any paint issues. Call the professionals at CertaPro Painters right away to take care of your home. Our front porch and back porches were chipping and peeling, just an eyesore. But CertaPro Painters swooped in and made a huge difference. They also painted a majority of our rooms in our house, the quality, service, and attention to detail like no other paint company. You know, spring is the season of change. Time to change your wall color or exterior and transform your home with an updated new look. And if you want some help with colors, they've got you covered with in-home color consultation or online with a color visualizer. Don't put it off. Time to hire CertaPro Painters, your residential and commercial painting expert. Schedule a free estimate online at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C, or call 1-800-GO-CERTA. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. CertaPro Painters, we do painting, you do life.
At Panera, breakfast to go no longer means to settle. Wake up with a new maple glazed bacon scrambled egg and cheese breakfast wrap and a Madagascar vanilla cold brew, all ready to go with the push of a button. Panera, food as it should be.
7:07 and a check on the morning commute in the AM 560 traffic center. Here's Jim Telemonte.
The outbound Kennedy is heavy with O'Hare traffic. We're looking at 56 minutes from downtown Chicago to the airport, 14 minutes to Montrose. Inbound, it's 40 minutes O'Hare to downtown. It's 24 minutes Lake Cook Junction. Inbound Eisenhower with the new lane configuration downtown. It's an hour from 390 to the Circle. Outbound 40 minutes. Stevenson, an hour and 6 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Ryan, 30 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, not too rough now. 20 minutes, I-80 to the merge. Issue 421. Northbound Tri-State has heavy delays. Southwest Highway to the 83rd Street toll. And from the Stevenson to North Avenue. Eastbound Reagan tollways, bumper to bumper, Myers to Tri-State. It's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center, here's Jillian Ford.
Today, clouds breaking for some sun with a high of 60. Clear to partly cloudy and chilly tonight with a low of 42. Mostly sunny tomorrow with a high of 68. Wednesday, clouds and sunshine with a high of 71. I'm Jillian Ford on AM 560, The Answer.
Sunshine, 46 at O'Hare. Next news, 7:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Papa Nicholas Coffee. Papa Nicholas Coffee, roasted fresh daily in Batavia, Illinois.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Adam Schiff, Democrat, represents Area 51, chairman of the House Intel Committee, was on with Clinton Foundation donor Zero over the weekend, talking about, sticking to the fact-free conspiracy theories he's been banding about for the last 2 years. Doesn't really, I don't even know why Mueller filed a report. It doesn't matter to what
no one's
Adam...
paying attention to it.
Well, it doesn't matter in terms of what Adam Schiff was going to say about it, about what the president has or has not done. And no, sir, if they don't get compliance with subpoenas, their new tack is...
money.
$25,000 a day, personally. Good luck with that challenge. But I mean, it's actually really sinister because it's a way to try to obviously intimidate people into compliance. Number one, number two, to potentially bankrupt people or put them through significant financial duress so Schiff can get his way. It's very thuggish, as Schiff is.
Well, we're going to have to enforce so much of this in court, and we're seeing signs already, and I think this is positive, that the courts understand the urgency here. In the first case to get to the court involving the accountants, the House Oversight Committee, the judge has said, essentially, we're going to expedite the schedule. I'm going to give you a quick judgment on it. And look, we are going to have to consider other remedies like inherent contempt, where if the courts take too long, we use our own judicial process within the Congress. And look, I think if you fine someone $25,000 a day to their person, until they comply, it gets their attention.
If you can collect.
Well, if you can collect, but it affects, whether they're going to be facing ultimately hundreds of thousands of dollars of damages. I don't know how many are going to want to take that risk for Donald Trump.
Is that even legal, what he's talking about?
It would not. I don't think it would hold up to a constitutional challenge, no. Writing about the Mueller report and the aspect of the look back at 2016 that is happening, Bill Barr, Christopher Wray, Kevin Brock writing in The Hill. This is really, this is pretty good rhetorical flourishes for a former assistant director of intel for the FBI. You don't usually get this guy. Maybe just like a creative writer in his previous life. Kevin Brock writes, Comey has realized probably too late that he has to try to counter more directly the narrative being set by the unsparing Attorney General, whose words in front of the Senate Judiciary Committee landed in the Trump opposition world like holy water on Linda Blair. Shrieking heads haven't stopped spinning since. And then he addresses Comey's op-ed in the New York Times, where he's talking about where Bill Barr is having his soul eaten by Trump one morsel at a time. Writes Brock, Comey trotted out his now familiar St. James shtick, freely pronouncing on the morality of others. He sees himself as a kind of pontiff of the Potomac working his beads, but comes across more like an unraveling Captain Queeg working his ball bearings. I'll tell you, that's pretty good right there. That is pretty good stuff, and you don't have to be a Humphrey Bogart fan to appreciate it. For more on this, and also the story we talked about a little bit earlier, that's terrorist camp that was identified in Macon County, Alabama. We're pleased to be joined by Kevin Brock, former assistant director of intel for the FBI, was a special agent for 24 years and principal deputy director of the National Counterterrorism Center. He's a founder and principal of New Street Global Solutions, which consults with private companies and public safety agencies on strategic mission technologies. Kevin, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Well, thank you for having me. I appreciate it. And if you saw my grades in English in college, you wouldn't call me a creative writer.
Well, I'll tell you, this is pretty good stuff for a G-man. This piece in The Hill is pretty colorful. Give us your synopsis of why you think Comey is in trouble and he knows it.
I think it's betrayed by his own words and actions. I think it was reinforced last week in his CNN town hall, where he didn't really want to discuss specifics about why the case against the Trump campaign, the counterintelligence case, was initiated. When pressed mildly, he just deflected, said he couldn't recall, or he deferred comment to the FBI, which he knows won't comment. But he pivoted back to just pretty much an attack on Trump, a steady attack to call him a chronic liar, an amoral person, criminal, and he wanted to focus on that. I think that's part and parcel of a strategy now that we're seeing unfold since the Mueller report has undercut any idea that the original investigation was started based on a satisfactory predication. The argument seems to be now coming out of Comey something along the lines of, well, he was a horrible person and we had to stop him, and so that that was the rationale. Well, that's not sufficient basis for initiating an FBI investigation on anybody just because they're horrible or you don't like them.
So when the FBI initiates an investigation on someone, do they essentially spy on them? Because that was a big, point of contention is whether or not the FBI spied, wiretapped the Trump Tower.
It's a fascinating side argument, I call it, whether it's spying or an investigation. I know Mr. Comey has addressed this. The Attorney General used the term in front of Congress. I don't get all the uproar. It's a word. Comey's right. The FBI conducts investigations. They deploy electronic surveillance, which I consider to be a far more powerful term than spying, because electronic surveillance is such an invasive technique, investigative technique. It's an order by the court to basically monitor that person 24/7, not just tap their phones, but to plant microphones, cameras, whatever it takes to capture their conversations. So it seems to me a little bit of a silly distraction as to whether or not the term spy is used or not. Let's look at the real issue. The real issue is a U.S. citizen had a FISA court order issued against them, and did the FBI have sufficient information to do so? Now, they got the court order, so that would, on the surface of it, say there was sufficient information. But looking at the affidavit, it looks like the court may not have had all the information that they should have had in order to, while considering that order.
The CNN town hall you mentioned that Comey had last week, he was asked about the forthcoming DOJ Inspector General report, Michael Horowitz report, and some reporting predicting that it may not cast Comey in a particularly flattering light. He said, let's see it, basically like bring it on. What do you expect from that IG report, and particularly as it pertains to not just Comey, but that entire senior leadership strata in the FBI under Comey?
Right. Well, all of us on the outside, no longer in the FBI, depend on what we hear in congressional testimony, what we've heard in the press reporting, which can be, wild. But I think what the IG rightfully is looking at were there any of the procedures or policies violated in collecting and aggregating information that led to that electronic surveillance? And that means going back to the beginning and saying, was there sufficient basis for the FBI to launch an investigation in the first place, let alone get a warrant to electronically surveil somebody? And there are very strict guidelines called Attorney General guidelines that the FBI must follow when they initiate a case, and that those guidelines articulate thresholds of information that are required in order to start a case. So, and by Comey's own admission, right when he was fired by the president, he said, "I still don't know whether we had whether there's anything to this Russia investigation that we started." So, if you're that uncertain about it at that point, how certain could you have been in the beginning? And and the initial information that they seem to be depending on were some reports about some comments that George Papadopoulos, a kind of a third stringer on the campaign, made about having dirt on Hillary Clinton. It doesn't look like, or it gives rise to legitimate questions as to whether there was sufficiency in the initiation of the investigation and in obtaining a warrant for electronic surveillance.
You were a special agent for 24 years. I assume you had some interactions with both Comey and Mueller during that time?
Well, Mueller was director when I was an assistant director, and Comey was appointed by President Obama after I had left the FBI. But I know Director Mueller quite well.
What's your handle on Mueller? Give us your opinion.
I think similar to what you've heard a lot of people say. He is an American hero. He legitimately so, a public servant. I never heard one word come out of his mouth that was political or would give rise to concerns about that type of thing, unlike we've heard from his successor, James Comey. And I think that it doesn't mean that as director he didn't make decisions that any one of us in the executive level of the FBI didn't question at times or disagree with. Many decisions we did and supported, like any director. but there was not a political nature in any decision that he made.
Is that the real break between somebody like Mueller and Comey, and what really rankles a lot of rank and file FBI guys and gals? Is it that Comey's more of a politician than he is a law enforcement officer?
I think and that goes for career agents who are now retired and those who are still in. I get a lot of back channel feedback. Obviously, I've made some public comments, and I'm not a professional commentator, but a large swath of FBI agents, retired and current, are unsettled by an FBI director being so directly political. This is unprecedented. We haven't seen that in the FBI's history. And the reason that it unsettles so many is because the FBI, the vitalness of the FBI depends on its impartiality, its objectivity, its ability to enforce the law regardless of political influences. And so when you have a director that's telegraphing so directly his animosity towards a presidential candidate or now president, it's not something that sits well.
Well, yeah, I mean, he's got a book out. He was on CNN Town Hall. When you watch him and
I think he's going to be the center square on Hollywood Squares before too long. Yeah.
I mean, how do you think that? Obviously, he's hurt the reputation of the FBI, but how do they get the reputation back?
Well, I think the current director is taking some right steps. I haven't, I've been told by those inside the FBI now that he has taken steps to initiate policy to make sure that what we saw during both the Clinton email investigation and the Trump-Russia counterintelligence investigation, which were run out of the director's office, James Comey's office, by a tight-knit group of individuals associated with Comey and his deputy director, Andrew McCabe, running an investigation out of the director's office of the FBI is unheard of. So, and I think part of the damage that has been done. So the new director, Christopher Wray, is establishing policy to make sure that never happens again. Investigations are done in the field. They're done by experienced investigators out away from headquarters, where FBI intersects most closely with the political flame of D.C. You don't want investigations happening at headquarters. You want them out with experienced investigators, and that'll be ensured as we go forward, and I think that's good news.
As part of this look back to 16 that Barr and Wray are doing, there's one crime we know was committed: unmasking of General Flynn. Do you expect that that the person who illegally unmasked General Flynn will be identified and that issue will be addressed in some material way?
Let's fervently hope so, because that's part and parcel to the sanctity and importance of the FISA court. Anytime this U.S. government intercepts someone who's called a U.S. person, in other words, a U.S. citizen or a permanent resident of the United States, anytime as a result of that interception, a U.S. person's name comes out, it is protected because this is an intelligence investigation. It's not a criminal investigation. It's not going to go to court. Reputations aren't going to be damaged. So those names are protected deliberately. When they're frivolously unmasked, it places the whole process and the integrity of the process and the value of our intelligence gathering apparatus at peril. So if it's done, as I say, frivolously, then that has to be held to account, and hopefully whoever did that or whoever ordered it, both are held to account on that.
You're also in your career the principal deputy director for the National Counterterrorism Center. So I wanted to get your take on this latest discovery of a jihadist compound on American soil. This in Macon County, Alabama. The same individual who was behind the compound in New Mexico, Siraj Wahaj, who's under indictment right now on terrorism charges and so forth, allegedly responsible for this compound in Alabama. What does it say to where we are with respect to interdicting terrorist, Islamic terrorism. We've seen some instances recently that suggest that it's not over. We may have permanently crippled ISIS in North Africa and the Middle East, but that doesn't mean that America is not still threatened by terrorist activity, Islamic terrorist activity in particular. Having two compounds, one in Alabama and one in New Mexico, sort of chilling, and it seems like it's underreported and the importance underappreciated.
It's funny you should mention that. I worked terrorism mostly through my career, and the one constant seemed to be, in the worst cases, was a compound somewhere in the mix, whether it was on the white supremacist anti-government side or on the jihadi side or other ideologies that reared their heads using terrorism. That we just kept running into compounds. Compounds are never a good thing. But to your larger point, the ideology driving the jihadi movement is not going to go away soon. It is because of the phenomenon of the internet and the ability to spread messages and communicate securely. Ideologies will live on. So the steps that we're taking overseas, direct confrontation, are important. In my experience fighting terrorism, the only way to vanquish it is to overwhelm it, is to delegitimize it, and you do that by investigating and in our country, throwing everybody you can into jail who's violating the law along these lines. Overseas, those who have taken up arms, you confront them and you eradicate them. So that is the solution, and so the FBI is busy constantly investigating these individuals, and people aren't investigated for their ideology. They're investigated for their call to arms, for their indications of willingness to use violence and the use of that violence. That's the tripwire that gets them investigated. And so the Bureau is going to find these individuals popping up constantly, and it'll be a while before this ever gets solved.
He is a former assistant director of intelligence for the FBI, was a special agent for 24 years, principal deputy director of the National Counterterrorism Center, and the founder and principal of New Street Global Solutions, a consulting company. His column, you want to check out thehill.com, is James Comey is in trouble, and he knows it. Kevin Brock, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate your time.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
It's like a hot, steaming cup of information to start your day. It's Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
The company began when Windows 95 was still singing Start Me Up and Novell servers were in vogue. Always learning since the day the doors opened and consistently finding technological solutions for those they serve. They've been through more iterations of operating systems than one would care to remember. Constantly changing and evolving to stay best in technological breed for decades. People serving people and leaving technological footprints for nearly 25 years. They're not afraid of technology and embrace its ever-changing life cycle. They know IT, they live IT, and they want to be your information technology partner. From help desk to Office 365 to desktop support and cloud solutions, they've got you covered. Turnkey IT, to make your company better, stronger, and ready to compete and win. Turnkey.pro.
Get those golf clubs ready. Get out your golf outfits. Get out your golf shoes. It's time to play a little golf, right? The weather's going to get warmer here this week, and it's a good time for you to sign up to play golf with us on Monday, June 24th at the beautiful yet challenging Mystic Wood Golf Club in Romeoville, presented by Clear Financial Strategies. Just call 312-363-6680 to reserve your foursome, 312-363-6680. For $1,196, you can purchase a foursome if as part of our business benefactor program, which means if you make the marketing decisions for your company and you want to try out advertising on radio, this is a great way to do it. $1,196. That will get you a foursome. That will get you a fun day of golf. And as a way of saying thank you, you receive 25 one-minute commercials to promote your business right here on AM 560, Monday through Friday, 5 a.m. to 10 p.m. That's when we'll play those commercials If you purchase to play golf, force him to play golf with Dan Proft, $2,000. And guess what? He'll voice those commercials for you. It's really a great way to take your business to the next level. It's $3,000 worth of advertising for just $11.96. To become a business benefactor, call 312-363-6680. Oh, wait, and did we mention that a portion of the proceeds will benefit the 100 clubs of Chicago, DuPage, and Will counties? 312-363-6680. 312-363-6680. And we'll see you Monday, June 24th at the Mystic Wood Golf Club.
Hey, my friend's retail store was the victim of IoT password theft.
Yep. Cybercriminals are taking over security cameras, payment systems, and other IoT devices by exploiting vulnerabilities.
What if they target us and our dispersed network?
We're secured with Barracuda. We have advanced firewalls for our sites, enhanced security for our cloud infrastructure, and total email protection.
Such a relief.
Protect your business at Barracuda.com. Barracuda, your journey secured.
AM 560, The Answer.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Reparation H clarifies her call to eliminate private health insurance. Bolshevik Bernie wants post offices to get into the banking business. We'll talk the 2020 election contest with Peter Baker, Chief White House Correspondent for the New York Times, at 7:37.
Oh, and ladies, we've come a long way. There's now something new for nursing moms at Wrigley Field. We'll explain, but first, into the newsroom we go. Here's Mike Scott.
46 degrees and sunshine. Authorities are searching for the driver of a pickup truck that struck a 7-year-old girl riding a bicycle in St. Charles. A black Dodge pickup ran into that child yesterday near Geneva and Courier Avenues. The truck drove off, was found abandoned. The girl airlifted to Lutheran General Hospital with potentially life-threatening injuries. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo making a change in his trip to Russia this week. Pompeo called off a stop in Moscow and is instead in Brussels to meet with EU leaders discussing Iran. Swedish authorities are reopening a rape investigation into WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange. He currently is being held for 50 weeks inside a British jail for jumping bail when he went inside the Ecuadorian embassy. A suspect is under arrest this morning, charged with killing a man in a machete attack on the Appalachian Trail in southwest Virginia. 30-year-old James Jordan attacked a man and woman hiking along the trail Saturday morning. The man died from his injuries. The injured female is expected to survive. The deadly March attacks on 2 mosques in Christchurch, New Zealand, are the subject of an inquiry getting underway today. Police have identified the man killed in a police shooting over the weekend on Chicago's west side. Authorities say Sherelle Brown was stopped by officers Saturday, and an armed confrontation ensued. The officers are now placed on administrative duties for 30 days. One person is dead, struck by a Red Line train on Chicago's north side. The incident happened yesterday at the Bryn Mawr station. Chicago sports found the Cubs winners over the Brewers at Wrigley 4-1, and the White Sox 5-1 winners over the Blue Jays in Toronto. The news service of Accountemps demand for top talent is at an all-time high, but you can't afford to miss important deadlines. Whether you need help for a day, a week, months, keep your work on track with highly skilled accounting and finance professionals from Accountemps, a Robert Half company. 7:33 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
The quivers, the shivers, goosebumps. That's what our customers say before 1 hour heating and air conditioning repairs their furnace. Call us. We'll fix it right, stand by our work, and give you our straightforward pricing, which means no hourly charges. How's that for goosebumps? Right now, get big savings on any heating repair. Call 855-1-HOUR.
Your comfort is just a call away. Call 1 hour.
Terms and conditions may apply. Call for details. Independently owned and operated. Licensed in the respective state or county.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
I'm Jim Keene Jr. of the Mailhouse Inc., a family-owned and operated digital print mailhouse with a specialty in political advertising and a customer of Signature Bank. We knew that getting a loan to buy our business wouldn't be easy, so we turned to one of our trusted friends for a referral. She told us about the outstanding level of customer service her business received at Signature Bank since becoming one of their first customers in 2006. Today, we couldn't be happier. Not only did Signature help us finance the purchase of the mailhouse, but they supported our growth as we modernized our operations in mailing as well as from traditional to digital printing. If you're looking for a great bank to grow your business, take a look at Signature Bank.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. To learn more about turning your business vision into reality, visit signaturebank.bank. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
As the weather gets warmer and you go outside in the yard, look up. How's that chimney doing? It probably got a good workout this past winter while it was keeping you toasty during those rough months of extreme cold. Or maybe you didn't use it at all because you were worried it hadn't been checked out in a few years and maybe a safety hazard. Well, this would be a good time to call Fireplace and Chimney Authority and get a checkup. You still have a few cool evenings left to enjoy your fireplace before the summer heat arrives. Fireplace and Chimney Authority do masonry and all chimney repairs. Their certified technicians will make sure your chimney is in good condition, so you don't have to worry about any potential hazards. For a limited time, get $100 off any masonry or relining work over $750. Call Fireplace and Chimney Authority for an inspection at 630-279-8500, 630-279-8500, and visit their beautiful showrooms in Lisle and Elmhurst to see a great selection of fireplaces, gas logs, and grills.
7:36. Let's get an update on the roads in the AM 560 Traffic Center. Here's Jim Talamonte.
On eastbound I-80 near 355, watch out for some metal pipes blocking the left lane. The northbound Veterans Memorial has delays right now from before 75th to Roosevelt and Lake Street to 290. It's 25 minutes Lake Cook to Junction. Kennedy, 45 minutes O'Hare to downtown. A little quicker than the Express. Eisenhower, an hour and 3 minutes, 390 to downtown. Stevenson, an hour and 12 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Ryan is 30 minutes from 95th. I-57, 27 minutes, I-80 to the merge, Bishopford 30. Northbound Tri-State is jammed. 95th to the 83rd Street toll from the mile-long bridge to North Avenue. Reagan Tollway delays from Midwest to the Tri-State. It's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next, and your official Chicagoland weather forecast. It's an improving one in the 1-hour heating and air conditioning weather center as clouds break for sun today, high near 60. Still will be chilly overnight, crisp low of 42 and sunny and 68 tomorrow. 46 at O'Hare. Next news at 8. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Financial Planning with Jack Taboda, your 401k rollover specialist. Heard Saturday mornings at 7 on AM 560, The Answer.
If you're looking for the latest news, insight into what it means, and the sharpest opinion, there's only one station in Chicago where you can turn, and it's this one. We're AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy, and well, this is an interesting story. Former Fugees rapper Pras Michel, not sure I pronounced his last name, indicted on charges of funneling millions of dollars in foreign money to then President Obama's 2020 re-election effort. This in conjunction with part of the fallout from a multi-billion-dollar fraud scandal at a Malaysian government fund. A Malaysian businessman, Mr. Low, has been indicted pending trial. According to the indictment, the Fugees rapper was paid $1 million in money received from Mr. Low to a 2012 political group that supported Obama, and an additional $865,000 to straw donors to support Mr. Obama's campaign, people he reimbursed for their contributions. Well, that's interesting. Foreign involvement in a presidential election, financing of. Influence peddling in. Interesting. That's one strain of inquiry I'd like to pursue with Peter Baker from the New York Times. Another is Kamala Harris. It's interesting. It seems like Kamala, but particularly Beto O'Rourke, having problems getting their footing. Beto's just disappeared.
Well, he's going to do a restart. He's
Well,
going to
that's why
have a big reveal, a new, here I am again campaign rally.
Well, I know, and I don't know exactly how he's going to capture the old black magic. I don't know, but it's obvious that he needs to. And Kamala hasn't been invisible the way Beto has, but partly because she's a member of the Senate. She's, been on the questioning of Bill Barr and other things. But she still doesn't really have a message, and she's still struggling with trying to explain away what she said at a CNN town hall earlier this year with Jake Tapper, that she supports eliminating all private health insurance. Well, she sat down with Jake Tapper again over the weekend, and that issue was raised, and she tried to address it. See if you're convinced.
It was in the context of saying, let's get rid of all the bureaucracy. Let's get all of the ways.
Oh, not the insurance companies.
No, that's not what I meant. I know it was interpreted that way. If you watch the tape, I think you'll see that there are obviously many interpretations of what I said. What I meant is let's get rid of the bureaucracy. As it relates to Medicare.
But the bill gets rid of insurance.
But no. It does not get rid of insurance. It does not get rid of insurance. And listen, and let me just tell you where I am. Let's tell you where I am.
All right.
I support Medicare for all. It is my preferred
As a principle, you mean, not Bernie Sanders' bill?
I support the bill.
Okay.
I support the bill.
Well, because the bill gets rid of private insurance for everything that
it doesn't get rid of supplemental insurance.
Right, for cosmetic surgery, but for all...
So it doesn't get rid of all insurance.
Okay, it doesn't get rid of all insurance,
right.
but for all essential health care benefits.
But why? Ask the question why.
So it does.
The question... the answer to that question is because Medicare for All and the vision of what it will be includes an expansion of coverage. So Medicare for All will include vision, it'll include dental, it'll include hearing aids.
And it'll do all that without any bureaucracy. She's a mess on this issue. The fact is what Jake Tapper is saying is right. The revised bill prohibits any medical provider, quote, from entering into a private contract with an individual enrolled under Medicare for America or any item or service coverable under Medicare for America. In addition, the law automatically enrolls babies in the new government program at birth. So this is yes, Americans can still use private insurance in some circumstance, but the legislation squeezes out the private insurance market in short order. She knows it. That's why she went from saying she's for private health insurance to explaining why she's not for private health insurance. Interesting stuff. Meanwhile, Bernie wants the post offices to get into banking. Let's talk a little 2020 with Peter Baker. He's the chief White House correspondent at the New York Times. He's also the author of a couple of books, Days of Fire, Bush and Cheney in the White House, and Obama, The Call of History. Peter, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Hey, thanks for having me.
What about this story about the Fugees rapper? I'm sure you're a fan. Killing Me Soft. Did they do a remake?
Yeah,
of
they
Killing
did.
Me Softly?
Killing Me Softly. It's the Fugees.
It did what I say? Fugees.
Yeah, Fugees.
Fugees.
You're so old.
I am. So what about this though? The idea, all of this talk about wanting to see Trump's financial records, wanting to see his personal finances because we see if he's doing business with foreign governments, particularly obviously Russia. And here we have this other interesting story about foreign money influencing the 2012 reelection of President Obama.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with the story enough to give a smart comment on it. I mean, I think that's obviously a concern going back many years about foreign government trying to influence elections. The question is whether or not the people on this side cooperate with that or take advantage of that or aware of that. And that's the kind of thing that we've been dealing with for a long time. I started in the White House beat back in 1996 when we were discussing President Clinton and some of this foreign money that was coming into the United States back then. So this is that's not a new thing. What's interesting is what would be interesting to know, I'm not familiar enough to say, is what knowledge there was on the part of the people here in the United States and what was where did that go?
With respect to just sticking with Obama for a minute, David Axelrod, suggesting that Joe Biden's campaign is in full gaffe prevent defense mode, and that's apparently what where they think they need to be right now, as Biden sits atop the polls, including in the early states. Is that your sense of it as well?
Well, I think they understand that one of his big vulnerabilities is that he's a fatty, loquacious fellow who it says what comes into his head. Sometimes what comes into his head isn't as thought through as his aides would like it to be, and that can cause him problems to explain later. You play the tape of Kamala Harris trying to explain away previous comments, and that's a career concern that Vice President Biden has had over the course of decades in public life. Now, the flip side is that some people find that to be more authentic. I mean, President Trump obviously doesn't stick to a script either. There is some advantage or some appeal to politicians simply saying what they actually think. But if you end up finding yourself having to explain more than to, get across your point, then that's taking away time when you need campaigning for policy making and other priorities. So I think that they're very on top of that. That's something they're trying to get into be more disciplined. He's never been a front runner before. He's never gotten past 1% in the Iowa caucuses, so he's gotten a lot more attention this time around, and it's going to be trained on him from the minute he steps foot in public, so he knows he has to be careful.
But Biden is a different candidate than Hillary Clinton. I mean, Biden at least seems like he cares, because Hillary Clinton, she just, she kept the media away from her. She seemed like she didn't have a soul during that last campaign. Do you agree?
Well, I mean, that's the thing, right? So that's the flip side is that you are absolutely focused on message discipline. You're going to come across as scripted and soulless and not very appealing. And so, in the war against gas, you have to be careful not to, find a balance someplace between being human, which people can understand, and being somebody who causes distractions that are going to be a problem for your campaign.
It seems like the Democrats are having a difficult time figuring out how to message on Trump's China policy. Obviously, they don't want to be complimentary to Trump. They're loath to say they agree with Trump on anything, but yet they've got the Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer saying, stay the course with China, Mr. President. Kamala Harris, in the interview with Tapper, danced around the issue of tariffs as much as she could. This is, to my mind, a vulnerability of Trump's because it has a negative economic impact, these tariffs that he continues to impose, this trade war that rolls on. But Democrats seem incapable of distinguishing themselves on that, so he's sort of getting away with it.
Well, it's interesting. China is one of the few areas of foreign policy right now where there is kind of a bipartisan consensus, at least on the broader theory, right, which is that China has been feeding us and that we need to take a tougher line and we should stand up. And that's something Democrats like Schumer and Nancy Pelosi have talked about, as well as Republicans, for a lot of years. But that's an area where they actually share some thinking with President Trump. But you're right that the strategy, how you go about confronting China, isn't something that there's necessarily a complete consensus on. These tariffs are certainly more ambitious or, what have you, whatever word you're going to use, than Democrats have ever advocated before, because there is, in fact, as you say, some potential downside, some real costs to consumers here. The tariffs aren't paid by the Chinese, they're paid by American consumers, and obviously there are farmers and others out there who are worried about the impact. My guess is if it leads to a deal, the short term probably won't be that important. The question is, if it doesn't lead to a deal and you have to keep these tariffs on because you want to, standing up to them, does that, begin to pull back on the economic gains that the president has enjoyed and that are his strongest, advantage going into next year?
Well, so Beto O'Rourke entered the race as one of ostensibly four candidates who you thought could put together the money to go the distance, along with Bernie and Biden and Kamala. And now he's, over the last, 4 to 6 weeks, he's been a ghost. So what happened to Beto, and how does he get back in the race?
Well, I think what happened to Beto O'Rourke is Pete Buttigieg. I think that suddenly there was a new flavor of the week, and that was Buttigieg. Did well on a CNN talk show, and suddenly the same folks who had gotten excited on the Democratic side about Beto O'Rourke were now excited about Pete Buttigieg. And for whatever reason, O'Rourke has, as you said, not seemed to been out there very much and making much of a splash. Now, all this is early. I mean, what really is going to be interesting to watch next month when we start the debate. That's when a lot of these candidates right now are floating around 1% of the polls or whatever, have a chance to make an impact and show what they're like. People don't know who they are, and maybe they'll stand out, maybe they won't. But that's, I think, that's when you get past the sort of natural built-in advantage that Joe Biden and that Bernie Sanders have because they've been around so a long time. People can look at these other candidates who are new on the stage and say, well, I like this one, I don't like that one. And that's where Wolf and Buttigieg and Kamala Harris really need to shine.
He is Peter Baker, Chief White House Correspondent for the New York Times, author of Days of Fire, Bush and Cheney in the White House, as well as Obama, The Call of History. Peter, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Hey, thanks for having me. Great talking to you.
Take care.
Yep, and he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
You're listening to Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
This is Dr. Howard, founder and formulator of Balance of Nature. We're changing America one life at a time.
I wish they would have me do a commercial. I'm from the New York area, and we don't trust anybody. I certainly didn't trust you guys at first. After all, you're like out of Utah. I was like, what is in Utah? Really? I listened to ESPN half the day, and I heard some little old man saying, oh, it's not fruits and babies, and da-da-da-da. And I was so, when you're in pain, you will try anything. And I said, let me try it, but I need to tell you that I'm jogging now. I didn't think I'd ever be able to do that again.
Talk to a Balance of Nature health coach today and see if getting the nutrition from over 10 servings of fruits and vegetables can make a difference in your life. Use discount code CHICAGO to receive free shipping on every order. Call 800-2468-751 or go to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
Springtime. It's a time when we put our sump pump to the test and our backup sump pump to the test as well. And you need a company that could check it because it's not a matter of if, but when your sump pump breaks. And Permaseal is the company to call, of course. That number, 800-421-SEAL. That's 800-421-7325. Since 1979, Permaseal has been providing dry, healthy basements and crawl spaces to over 400,000 homeowners all over Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana. So get the peace of mind that comes with a dry basement or crawl space. Call 800-421-SEAL for your free, no-obligation inspection. And again, if you're concerned about your sump pump system, you know who to call. Permaseal, 800-421-SEAL, or go to permaseal.net.
Policies issued by American General Life Insurance Company, Houston, Texas. Not available in all states. For details, visit AIGdirect.com.
Do you have a family? Would you like to help make sure they'll be taken care of if anything were to happen to you? If you answered yes, you probably need life insurance. Now, do you think life insurance is expensive? If you answered yes to that too, you definitely need to give AIG Direct a call. We could find you a $250,000 policy for just $14 a month, which means you could save hundreds of dollars a year. Call us now for a free, no-obligation quote. 1-800-700-1368. Since 1995, we've helped millions of people find out if they could save up to 70% on their term life insurance. See how affordably we can help you protect your family. Call AIG Direct now for your free quote. 1-800-700-1368. You could save up to 70%. That's 1-800-700-1368. 1-800-700-1368.
Fishermen, Anglers Outlet is celebrating the grand opening of their new location, now open in downtown Tinley Park. Stop by and celebrate now through Sunday. Get outlet prices on the finest brands of fishing tackle from brands like Shimano, Daiwa, Berkley Fenwick, St. Croix, and many, many more. Plus, the freshest and liveliest bait, minnows, suckers, grubs, and their famous Canadian night crawlers. It's all at Anglers Outlet's new location in downtown Tinley Park. You'll find everything you need for fishing, and they're open early every day for your convenience. Bring in your fishing reels during this week's grand opening, and they'll professionally fill the first one up with 175 yards of Berkley Trilene line for free. Stop by the Anglers Outlet grand opening celebration all this week at 17036 Oak Park Avenue in downtown Tinley Park. The address of Anglers Outlet changed, but the phone didn't. Call them at 708-331-5711. Also find them on Facebook. Don't miss the Anglers Outlet grand opening sale on now through Sunday in Tinley Park. Fish on.
Hi, my name's Christina Stumble, and I own Farm Girl Flowers in San Francisco. With my Spark Cash Card from Capital One, I earn unlimited 2% cash back on all my business purchases. Last year, I redeemed $115,000 in cash back. Yeah, $115,000. And that doubled our digital marketing budget for the summer. Thanks to my Spark Card, we had our best summer yet. Imagine what the Spark Card from Capital One could do for your business. What's in your wallet?
Real Capital One customers pay for real stories. Credit approval required.
I'm Sarah Wallace, General Manager at Magnolia Bakery.
Every cake has the backstory of who you're giving this cake to. It's happy birthday, Jessica, or happy sweet 16, Amy, and wanting Amy to have the best sweet 16 that she could ever have. I'm working for a sweeter world, one treat at a time.
At ADP, we're designing a better way to work so you can achieve what you're working for. HR, talent, time, benefits, and payroll, informed by data and designed for people. Learn more at design.adp.com.
Another school year is about to wrap up, and you need to start thinking about what activities your son or daughter will be involved with during summer break. You want them to have fun this summer, but at the same time have some structure to be prepared for the next school year. Introduce them to St. John's Northwestern Experience in the beautiful Lake Country region of southeast Wisconsin with summer OPS, opportunities for personal success. 5 intensive weeks of learning and training. Young men and women grades 7 to 12 get an opportunity to advance academically in the structured and supportive environment of a military boarding school, and at the same time be involved in an exciting summer adventure camp that inspires personal growth through a commitment to excellence in academics, leadership skills, spiritual and character development, and athletics and wellness. Camp St. John's Northwestern for your son or daughter with full boarding or day camp programs. Get more info at 1-800-SJ-CADET. That's 1-800-SJ-CADET or online at sjnma.org. That's sjnma.org.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, this is a story of how David Mamet became a conservative. A story like this. This is in Dunedin, Florida. Jim Ficken admits he let his grass grow too long. He just doesn't think he should lose his house over it. The city's code enforcement board moved to foreclose on his home because he's failed to pay nearly $30,000 in code violation fines he accrued in 2018. The city fined him $500 per day over the summer because his grass grew longer than 10 inches. $500 a day. The same day the city moved to foreclose, Ficken, who's 69 years old, filed a lawsuit against the city. $1 million. So he's seeking $1 in nominal damages, attorney's fees, and injunctions that would relieve him of the fines. He said it's an excessive fine, and everyone I spoke to says it's outrageous. The city saying, basically, hey, look, we're just doing our jobs. That line that you always get from the government commissars. He was given no notice that he was being charged $500 every day for the length of his grass, even though he admits he let his grass grow too long. He just thinks the response is over the top. I would say $30,000 in fines and then moving to take someone's home from them over long grass. It seems like there's many other avenues to work this out that were available and not pursued. It was nearly 2 months before Ficken had any idea he owed the city tens of thousands of dollars, he said. Code enforcement official making his daily rounds told Ficken to expect a big bill from the city. That's when he started to sort of get wind of it. He bought a new mower. He did mow his lawn, but because he didn't make the hearing, he had family issues and so forth, the board determined his fine would stand, approved a separate fine, and this thing just kept piling up. But this is the over-officiousness of government. We talk about it so much at the federal level or the state level. You have issues like this at the local level, too, and I've worked in municipal government. So I know it, and I'm all for devolving power to the localist level of government because that's closest to the people, so it's easier things to remedy. One of the fun things about being in municipal government is if you make a policy change or you make a decision, it can be implemented right away. There's not the layers to get down to your constituents. But there are these excesses where local units of government, even though it's members of the community normally, right? These are your neighbors sitting over you in the government. They can succumb to the same excesses of faraway government in a state legislature or Congress, and this seems to be one of those cases.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Our latest segment of Campus Beat, why math teachers should be more like football coaches at 8:08.
But first, let's head into the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
4 fallen CPD officers are honored in Washington, D.C. A driver flees after hitting a girl in St. Charles Township. Chicago man charged with calling in false police reports. Cubs topped the Brewers on Sunday while the White Sox powered past the Blue Jays. NBA Draft Lottery and NBA Combine combined this week here in Chicago. Clouds will break for some sunshine today and a high near 60. WIND Chicago News Time is 8 o'clock.
China responds. I'm Dave Anthony. Fox News is planning to increase tariffs next month on $60 billion worth of American goods, days after the U.S. increased tariffs on Chinese imports. And all this could send stocks plunging. Dow futures have been down nearly 500 points. Fox's John Decker is live at the White House.
President Trump denying that U.S. consumers will pay for higher tariffs on Chinese imports, a day after his top economic advisor Larry Kudlow on Fox News acknowledged that Americans will feel the pinch.
Tariffs are part of negotiations, and they show that we do mean business, and we will take action.
The president this morning writing on Twitter, I say openly to President Xi and all of my many friends in China that China will be hurt very badly if you don't make a deal, because companies will be forced to leave China for other countries, too expensive to buy in China. He continued, you had a great deal, almost completed, and you backed out. Dave?
On John, Saudi Arabia says 2 of its oil tankers were attacked off the United Arab Emirates coast. One was going to be shipping oil to the U.S. Secretary of State Pompeo's in Brussels, changing his itinerary last minute to go where European leaders are holding talks today on the Iran nuclear deal. Special counsel Mueller will not testify this week, but House Democrats are still pushing for it amid a bunch of subpoenas into the Trump administration. Intelligence Committee Chair Adam Schiff told ABC's This Week.
The American people have every right to hear what the man who did the investigation has to say, and we now know we certainly can't rely on the Attorney General who misrepresented his conclusions.
President Trump tweeted it should be over. There was no collusion, no obstruction, but he says Democrats have gone nuts. A big star from TV and movies past has died. Doris Day, who starred in a bunch of movies, put out a lot of albums in the 50s and 60s and beyond. She was 97 years old. This is Fox News.
Sunshine and 46 degrees in Chicago. It's 8:02 on AM 560, The Answer, and good morning, everyone. I'm Mike Scott. Authorities are searching for the driver of a pickup truck that hit a 7-year-old girl riding a bicycle in St. Charles Township. Kane County Sheriff's Office says a black Dodge pickup ran into the child yesterday near Geneva and Courier. A truck drove off and then was found abandoned a few blocks later away. The girl airlifted to the hospital with potentially life-threatening injuries. 4 fallen Chicago police officers are being recognized in Washington, D.C. Superintendent Eddie Johnson spoke with families of CPD Commander Paul Bauer and Officers Sam Jimenez, Eduardo Marmoleo, and Conrad Gary before they were honored yesterday at the beginning of National Police Week.
In talking to them, they were actually looking forward to this because the entire country will see what great heroes came from their families and the support systems that they have.
A Chicago man accused of calling 911 multiple times and falsely reporting that officers had been shot appeared in court yesterday. Terrence King Jr. appeared on 1 felony count of disorderly conduct. Bail set at $750,000 for a man accused of sexually assaulting a woman last week in suburban Glendale Heights. Prosecutors say the woman was about to start a shift at a local restaurant on North Avenue when the man, Kenneth Hatlin, attacked her. Chris Bryant's 2-run home run helped the Cubs to a 4-1 win over the Brewers at Wrigley Field. Tim Anderson belts a 3-run home run, and the White Sox were 5-1 winners over the Blue Jays in Toronto. It's 8:03, time for the AM 560 Business Beat. And from the Fox Business Network, here's Lillian Wu.
From the Fox Business Network, a lot of down arrows on Wall Street with stocks set to open lower on worries about the U.S.-China tariff war. Oil prices climbing after Saudi Arabia says 2 of its oil tankers were damaged by sabotage attacks Sunday near the Strait of Hormuz. Crude is up to $62.50 a barrel. This coming as the U.S. issued a new warning to sailors, and the UAE's regional allies condemned the incident that targeted at least 4 ships. And a cup of coffee that'll give you a jolt from your bill, $72 a cup. It's a price for what's being touted as the world's most expensive coffee. According to San Francisco TV station KGO, the coffee imported from Panama costs about $803 a pound, but after roasting, it's closer to $1,200 a pound. With the Fox Business Report, I'm Lillian Wu.
8:04, a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Sean Hannity thinks the president is dealing with more than he should.
After never invoking executive privilege, after being the most cooperative with the Mueller investigation, and then 1.45 million documents, questions answered by the president, enough is enough. This now becomes about presidential harassment.
The Sean Hannity Show. Afternoons at 2, right before Joe Walsh at 5 on AM 560. The Answer.
Hi, this is Amy Jacobson. Spring is the perfect time to take notice of any paint issues. Call the professionals at CertaPro Painters right away to take care of your home. Our front porch and back porches were chipping and peeling, just an eyesore. But CertaPro Painters swooped in and made a huge difference. They also painted a majority of our rooms in our house, the quality, service, and attention to detail like no other paint company. You know, spring is the season of change. Time to change your wall color or exterior and transform your home with an updated new look. And if you want some help with colors, they've got you covered with in-home color consultation or online with a color visualizer. Don't put it off. Time to hire CertaPro Painters, your residential and commercial painting expert. Schedule a free estimate online at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C, or call 1-800-GO-CERTA. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. CertaPro Painters, we do painting, you do life.
All money managers might seem the same, but while some give their clients cookie-cutter portfolios, Fisher Investments tailors portfolios to your goals and needs. Some only call when they have something to sell. Fisher calls regularly, so you stay informed. And while some advisors are happy to earn commissions whether you do well or not, Fisher Investments fees are structured so we do better when you do better. In other words, we're on your side. Maybe that's why most of our clients come from other money managers. So if you're in or nearing retirement, talk with us and find out why investors are switching to and staying with Fisher Investments. Fisher Investments. Clearly better money management. Investments in securities involve the risk of loss. Visit us at FisherInvestments.com to find out what we can do for you.
8:07, and a check on the roads in the AM 560 traffic center. Here's Jim Talamonte.
The inbound Eisenhower is very heavy this morning with a new lane configuration. Approaching downtown Chicago is an hour and 17 minutes, 390 to the Bird Circle, 58 minutes from Mannheim. How about 40 minutes to 390? Eden's 22 minutes either way between Lake Hook and Montrose. Kennedy, 48 minutes O'Hare to downtown, 24 from Montrose, 20 in the Express. How about 40 to the airport? Inbound Stevenson, looking at an hour and 16 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. How about 40 minutes? Ryan, 34 minutes, 95 to downtown. Tri-State southbound, it's heavy, 120 to 176. 22 to the Spur, which is backed up. Northbound, 95th to past North Avenue. It's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center and Jillian Ford.
Clouds breaking for some sun today with a high of 60. Clear to partly cloudy and chilly tonight with a low of 42. Mostly sunny tomorrow with a high of 68. Clouds and sunshine Wednesday with a high of 71. I'm Jillian Ford on AM 560, The Answer.
Sunshine, 46 degrees. Next news at 8:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Watch today's show live right now on the Income Store live video stream at 560theanswer.com.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
They got the beat, the campus beat, the campus beat. Yeah, the campus beat.
Yeah, Dan and Amy, and this is an interesting piece from John Urschel, New York Times, over the weekend. John Urschel played professional football. Growing up, I thought math class was something to be endured, not enjoyed. I disliked memorizing formulas, taking tests, all for the dull goal of getting a good grade. But my problem wasn't with math itself. In fact, I spent countless hours as a child doing logic and math puzzles on my own. And as a teenager, when a topic seemed particularly interesting, I'd go to the library and read more about it. By high school, none of my teachers questioned my mathematical talent, but none of them really encouraged it either. No one told me I could become a professional mathematician. And frankly, that was fine to me. I wanted to play college football. I was an offensive lineman. My hero was Jake Long, starting left tackle for the University of Michigan Wolverines. My ambition was to get an athletic scholarship and attend a big school. And he grew up in the Buffalo area. He was undersized to play line in a Big Ten school, but my coaches encouraged me to reach my goal, preparing me, pushing me. When they told me I had potential, but I would have to work hard. I listened. I heard their voice in my ear when I dragged myself out of bed for pre-dawn weightlifting sessions. They made videotapes of my performances, sent them to college coaches around the country. It didn't matter that I didn't initially attract much interest from the big schools. My coaches kept picking up the phone and kept convincing me to try to prove myself. Ultimately, John Urschel gets a scholarship to go to Penn State. 26 of their 27 recruits. After college, he was drafted by the Ravens, and he played for 3 years.
Wow, that's incredible.
And he writes this: football coaches can be easy to caricature, all that intensity, all those pep talks, all the promises to build character. I certainly don't romanticize them. I don't believe that they make better young men, just better football players. But I wish math teachers were more like football coaches. I don't blame my math teachers. They taught me well. When I got to Penn State, where I majored in math, I was prepared to do the subject at an advanced level. No one expects math teachers to talk with the kind of fire or demand the kind of commitment and accountability that football coaches do. It's, it'd be weird to have a Newt Rockne speech before Trig, right?
Well, but it might work.
Well, what he argues is there's a growing body of research, this is true, that shows students are affected by more than just the quality of a lesson plan. They also respond to the passion of their teachers and the engagement of their peers, and they seek a sense of purpose.
I could think of one person, and that's Coach Terry Sifone, who also taught sophomore geometry at Hersey High School. She was my volleyball coach, but also my math teacher, geometry teacher. And she made geometry so much fun because she had that same enthusiasm, like, let's go, we're going to nail this test today. As she'd say, let's go, we're going to beat wheeling today. I mean, she had the same passion and drive and just loved what she was doing, and she loved her students. She was one of my favorite teachers ever.
Well, and
now I'm going to cry.
Well, that's it. And I think, and we'll take your reminiscing about your high school, college teachers that fit this description. What was Mrs. who?
Miss Sifone, Terry Sifone.
Sifone.
She got married. Terry Sifone Davis. Now she's married.
Thank you for the update.
Well, I just wanted people to know in case,
Sure.
want to know who I'm
is she
talking
still at
about.
Hersey?
I don't know. I don't know.
Way to keep track.
Well,
312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. Yeah, I mean,
we do a cheer for volleyball and we do a cheer for geometry. I know that sounds crazy, but that's what we do. And it made me want to go to class every day, and it made me want to learn. It made me want to shut up and listen.
What was your cheer for the rhombus?
ROMBUS.
That's misspelled.
Of course it is, because it's me.
Okay. It wasn't a spelling class.
It was-
I grant you. All right.
What about you?
Did you have a cheer for Pythagoras?
Oh, Pythagoras, yes. Go heavy or go home, Pythagoras.
Right, sure. Pythagoras. That is the Pythagorean theorem, I believe. Go heavy or go home.
And then we did a Pythagorean theorem triangle.
Yeah.
I mean, the lift for the cheerleading move. Yeah.
Right, in an isosceles triangle form.
Yep.
Of course. Sure. Specific instructions, constant feedback, culture of learning. And that's what encourages resilience in the face of failure, writes John Urschel. And he talks about that essentially being the football culture, and perhaps it's not enough the classroom culture. This is why I always say, like, a great teacher is like a great artist. That it's more than just the lesson plan. It's more than just knowledge of the subject. It's, how do you instill a love of learning into children? Light that fire, not just fill that pail.
Right.
To borrow from Yeats. How do you instill that love of learning so they get really interested in the subject? Or to the extent you have a talent, math talent like John Urschel is, you'll find out exactly in a second just how talented. How do you develop it? It's like having the star recruit. You see this kid, whatever, Damon Bailey in 8th grade. Bobby Knight recruited Damon Bailey in 8th grade.
Oh, that's
and
right.
you see this is more frequent now, but that used to be something that was sort of
taboo.
Well,
it
it just
didn't happen.
wasn't done. Yeah, you didn't even think to do that. But you have some standout in grade school, and then you watch him mature through high school and then into college, and you're helping along the way, talking to the coaches and so forth. It really is. It's fascinating to think about it this way. But he writes, John Urschel, until I got to college, I really didn't know what mathematics was. I still thought of it as problem sets and laborious computations. Then one day, one of my professors summoned me to his office, handed me a book, suggested I think about a particular problem. Understanding it, I realized, required reading other, more elementary books. I would make my way down one path only to hit a dead end. It wasn't easy, but it was fascinating. And his professor kept feeding him problems. This is almost like a Good Will Hunting story, but this is real. And then what is he doing? What's the professor doing? Love of learning, intellectual curiosity, thinking about this not as a chore, but as an area of exploration. He writes, the mathematical research I was doing had little in common with what I did in my high school classrooms. Instead, it was closer to the math and logic puzzles I did on my own as a boy. It gave me that same sense of wonder and curiosity, and it rewarded creativity. I'm now a PhD candidate in math at MIT.
Wow.
And I've published several papers in mathematical journals, and I still feel like a child. I still feel that childhood excitement every time I complete a proof. I wish I would have known this was possible when I was a kid. Interesting. I mean, it's 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. I'm sure everybody has had at least one teacher in their life, like this professor at Penn State that John Urschel had, and the kind of type of teacher that he's describing.
What about you? Did you have a...
Sure. Yeah, I would say
shout out?
I had a couple. Well, I think I mentioned before, too, but Dan Nagus, Mr. Nagus, who is the America Since 45 teacher at Bennett. Peter Paul, too, who's American history teacher there. I mean, they're like made it fun, interesting, provocative. If you were interested in history, they provided the impetus to investigate beyond the assigned syllabus. And so you really developed, they helped you to develop a body of knowledge by essentially, like the football coach, pushing you. This is a regimen. Mm-hmm. This is a discipline. It's not just doing the four corners of the assigned work. Well, this should be interesting.
This is going to be good. Anyone, 312-642-5600 is our turnkey.pro answer line, 64636. Type in DA, then a quick comment.
Someone who also cannot spell rhombus, Sean from Elmwood Park. You're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
He is a rhombus.
First of all, Prof, you're abnormal, so you could take yourself out of this. You didn't have the distractions of sexuality or any kind of urges whatsoever, so you're an egghead. But as a parent, here's what I've learned, okay? It's the difference between vocation and occupation. We're lucky that we're old. Our teachers didn't get these cushy jobs, and they went into it because they loved it, and they viewed us as interesting, and they had a relationship with us, these teachers today. And I'm telling you, brother, I send my kids to the best schools, and maybe 1 out of 30 is this way, maybe. And the odds are that they don't have the time to devote the way that they should to the individuals, because it should be 30 out of 30 teachers are like that. But here's the other interesting thing with grades. We hand them our kids who we've spent 5 and 6 and 7 years giving some sort of a foundation. And it's interesting, you're hard-pressed to have a guy turn over a kid who he says, my kid's a moron, he's never going to do anything in life, because we work at it when they're toddlers to teach them. The grade, to me, has never been about my kid. I know what my kid was when I handed her over to the education system. The grade, to me, is the teacher's ability to impose knowledge onto my child. So I've never looked at their grades as, you're not doing your job. To me, it's the teachers who don't do their job. I know what I gave you. What you give me back is up to you. So my kids don't get B's or C's or D's or A's. The teachers do. And when you go to these parent-teacher conference, you see it, because most of them are sloths, and they're waiting for their check, and their lives are a mess, and they're failures, because that's what teachers are. Sorry, it's just the way it is. Most of them can't do it in the real world. They go there and hide and wait for their pensions to kick in and their retirement, where they can travel the country. They're a bunch of cupcake connoisseurs. That's all they are.
All right. Thanks for the call, Sean. Any teachers want to weigh in on that characterization? I don't agree with that. As I said at the outset, and I've written years before, I believe a great teacher is like a great artist, and we just mentioned a few of them. John Urschel mentioned, or at least referenced his in his op-ed in the New York Times. Amy referenced one. I've referenced a couple. I could reference more. I think what you see is systemic problems, and maybe not in Sean's case because he sends his girls to private school. So there's a couple of things happening, right, in K through 12 education, the same thing that's happening on the college campus. A lot of politics and social engineering has insinuated itself in the curriculum such that that becomes more of a focus, or at least something that has to be managed rather than imparting a love of learning into children, developing intellectual capacity. That's number one. Number two, what you'll find when I looked at this a few years back, half the teachers in Illinois will leave the profession in the first 5 years. That's sort of a remarkable statistic for a job that pays above median salary for college graduates and has pretty good benefit package, as we know, and has pretty good job security, as we know. So there's something else going on. And if you talk to outstanding teachers, people that are smart, people that are accomplished, not cupcake connoisseurs, they will invariably tell you that I was in a system that didn't allow me to do what I got into teaching to do, which is what I said previously, instill a love of learning into children. And so this is the story of the command control K through 12 education in Chicago and elsewhere. And it's intellectually stunting, not just for the kids, for a lot of the adults too, that do see teaching as a vocation. So I'm not going to, are there free riders and are there people particularly close to their retirement that are phoning it in? I'm sure there are, like there are in every profession. There are those people in radio too, by the way.
Yes.
It's not just public sector. It happens everywhere. So I get that. Not everybody's motivated. Not everybody wants to be an artist. Some people just, and maybe they did at one point and they gave up on that and they just want to collect a check and punch out. That's like that in every profession, every sector. But there's something fundamentally different in teaching that I think explains some of the change that Sean is talking about. And it's not because you don't have good quality people that want to go into teaching and you don't have standout teachers in a lot of systems. You have systems that are structurally incapable of delivering what they promise to deliver and at exorbitant prices. That's what's actually happening. Nicole in Bourbonnais.
Hey, I just heard your comment, and I'm going to agree 100% with you.
I think a lot of teachers go into the field hoping that they can turn what is an art, what is a gift of teaching that they have, and that is systematically taken from them and replaced with the science of teaching, which arguably teaching may not be a science. It is more of an art, and I can say that because I went to school for both. Ended up not finishing that teaching degree, but I homeschooled my kids, and they did pretty well when I sent them off to school after I got done with them. They just teach it as a science now, they kind of cut off the legs of the people who use it, who are naturally gifted with the art of teaching, knowing the mind, and being able to figure out the puzzle of how to get knowledge and understanding into a young mind.
Yeah, I think that. Thanks for the call, Nicole. That's a great point about the technocratic nature of instruction, and that sort of technocratic approach that's imposed on teachers. Yeah, I think that's a good point. Tammy in Albany Park.
Hi, I was just wanting to comment on Sean's comment about teachers and how if every teacher was a good teacher, then every student would get an A. So that makes zero sense. So I taught at an independent school for 6 years, and I just found that there are kids that care, and there are kids that don't care, and there are parents that care, and there are parents that don't care. And oftentimes the kids that care have parents that care. Oh, sorry, I have a baby.
That's all right.
Okay. And
I thought Sean was with you. Yes.
I'm sorry, what?
No, I thought that was Sean from Elmwood Park in the background crying.
That's about right for him. But the kids that don't care have parents who don't care and have parents who don't invest. And if you expect to get A's, the kids need to be invested and the parents need to be invested.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's the problem.
Yeah, thanks for the call, Tammy. You're right, and Sean is wrong, but that's not unusual. Mike in Crown Point.
Good morning, guys. I've got several friends and relatives that teach in public schools here in Northwest Indiana, and in general, they're not very good schools. And what I was told is the fundamental reason is the way they're funded. You know, they're funded by pupil attendance, and if a kid's doing poorly and really needs to be failed, it takes a superintendent approval. It's very highly discouraged because they don't want to lose the revenue from the kid quitting or flunking out. So they keep passing these kids along, and they shouldn't be passed along. They should be, told that they need to work harder. And there are things that parents too. It's a big issue with the parents. They just don't get involved and know what their kids are doing.
Yeah.
Anyway, thanks. Have a good day.
Thanks for the call. Right. Average daily attendance, the same thing that works here, at least with respect to state support. So this is, again, systemic incentives that pervert the stated goal of education. And, oh, by the way, meanwhile, we're focused on passing legislation to, impose LGBT propaganda as part of the curriculum rather than getting Johnny and Sally to, regardless of any of the other socio-political silliness, getting them focused on learning to be critical thinkers, learning foundational reading, writing, and arithmetic skills, and building them up from there.
If you're talking about it, Dan and Amy are talking about it. It's Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Message and data rates may apply. Do you want to learn how to get started making money flipping houses right here in Chicago? If so, we have an amazing opportunity for you. We're looking for a small group of motivated individuals to join our real estate investing team. You'll be introduced to our 3-step system for flipping homes right here in the local area. This is Than Merrill, star of A&E's hit TV show Flip This House. My team and I are looking for a handful of people in the Chicago area who want to learn how to get started making money flipping houses in your spare time using other people's money. Chicago is a perfect market for my system, and next week I'm holding a free 2-hour educational workshop where we'll share how to get started making money flipping houses and how to build long-term wealth with income properties.
To get 2 free tickets to Than's workshop, text your 5-digit zip code to 82,000. Seating is extremely limited, so text your 5-digit zip code to 82,000. Text in the next 10 minutes, and you'll also reserve a free copy of Than's Money for Deals Guide. Just text your zip code to 82,000.
Hey, we still have some foursomes available for our upcoming golf outing that is benefiting the 100 clubs of Chicago, DuPage, and Will counties.
And many of you have asked, do I need to be a business owner to golf with you? The answer is no. Anyone can join us in golf on Monday, June 24th at the Mystic Wood Golf Club in Romeoville. It's a scramble. We have a 7:30 a.m. shotgun start and a 2 p.m. shotgun start. Lunch will be served. There'll be a silent auction. And to reserve your foursome or just to play with some of your buddies, call 312-363-6680, 312-363-6680. Again, anyone can join us for a great day of golf. But if you are a business owner or do make the marketing decisions for your company, you can be involved in our business benefactor program, which is this. You purchase a foursome for $1,196. Part of the proceeds go to the 100 clubs. And then as a way of saying thank you, we give you 25 60-second commercials to promote your business that will air right here on AM 560 between 5 a.m. and 10 p.m., Monday through Friday. It's a $3,000 advertising value for just $1,196. And a portion of the proceeds, again, will benefit the 100 clubs. They provide financial and educational assistance to the families of fallen first responders. It's a win-win. So call today to reserve your foursome, 312-363-6680. That's 312-363-6680. Or learn more at 560theanswer.com/golf.
Fisherman, Anglers Outlet is celebrating the grand opening of their new location, now open in downtown Tinley Park. Stop by and celebrate now through Sunday. Get outlet prices on the finest brands of fishing tackle from brands like Shimano, Daiwa, Berkley Fenwick, St. Croix, and many, many more. Plus, the freshest and liveliest bait, minnows, suckers, grubs, and their famous Canadian night crawlers. It's all at Anglers Outlet's new location in downtown Tinley Park. You'll find everything you need for fishing, and they're open early every day for your convenience. Bring in your fishing reels during this week's grand opening, and they'll professionally fill the first one up with 175 yards of Berkley Trilene line for free. Stop by the Anglers Outlet grand opening celebration all this week at 17036 Oak Park Avenue in downtown Tinley Park. The address of Anglers Outlet changed, but the phone didn't. Call them at 708-331-5711. Also find them on Facebook. Don't miss the Anglers Outlet grand opening sale on now through Sunday in Tinley Park. Fish on.
AM 560, The Answer.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
I'm sure we'll get a little remembrance of Doris Day from Mike Scott in the newsroom, but at 8:38, we're going to talk to former NYU professor Michael Rechtenwald about Facebook. Should Facebook be broken up at 8:38?
But first, let's head into the newsroom. Get the latest on Doris Day, dead at the age of 97.
Blue Sky,
she had a good run.
She had a great run and some missed opportunities in her life, including being able to play the lead role in The Graduate, which is coming out later in some biopics that are coming up as well. 46 degrees at 8:31. We're watching these developing stories as well. China issuing its own set of tariffs this morning on American goods as the trade war begins escalating between the two nations. It's having an impact on Wall Street this morning. Following her role in the college cheating admissions scandal, Felicity Huffman expected to plead guilty. She'll appear in a Boston federal courtroom today after admitting to paying $15,000 so her daughter would get more time on the SAT and for her daughter's wrong answers to be corrected. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo calling off a planned visit to Moscow. He'll still be meeting with Russian President Vladimir Putin this week. He's scrapping that early stop to meet with European leaders in Brussels. Closer to home, authorities are looking for the driver of a pickup truck that hit a 7-year-old girl riding a bicycle in St. Charles Township. The girl was struck by a black pickup truck near Geneva and Courier Avenues. Kane County sheriffs tell us the truck then drove off. It was found abandoned a few blocks away. The girl airlifted to Lutheran General Hospital with potentially life-threatening injuries. Two House Democrats in Springfield are now opposing Governor Pritzker's push for a ballot question that would allow a progressive income tax. State Representatives Sam Yingling and Jonathan Carroll announcing their full opposition to the plan late last week. This narrows the number of potential yes votes from 74 down to 72, with at least 71 needed for that question to appear next on the November 2020 ballot. Actress Peggy Lipton, star of The Mod Squad and then again on Twin Peaks, is dead. Her daughter is announcing her passing in a statement to the LA Times. She was 72. Legendary singer and actress and animal rights activist Doris Day is dead at the age of 97. She died early today at her Carmel Valley, California home. She began her career as a singer during the big band era of 1939, finishing life as a longtime neighbor of legendary actor and director Clint Eastwood. Chris Bryant blasted a two-run home run in the seventh. The Cubs 4-1 win over the Brewers at Wrigley Field. Tim Anderson belts a 3-run home run. White Sox 5-1 winners over the Blue Jays in Toronto. NBA draft lottery tomorrow. Cross your fingers. Bulls have a 12% chance of snagging the top spot and getting into the Zion Williamson sweepstakes. The news service of Panera Bread at Panera Breakfast to Go no longer means to settle. Wake up with a new maple glazed bacon, scrambled egg, and cheese breakfast wrap and a Madagascar vanilla cold brew, all ready to go with the push of a button. Panera, food as it should be. 8:34 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher explains the next media meltdown.
I don't think people care what happened from 1985 to 1994, but the media hysteria is ever present. Breaking down. Oh my gosh, he's a con man. What, he's a con man because a guy who made billions over the course of his lifetime had a 9-year period where he lost money? What a shocker.
The Mike Gallagher Show. Weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
Prescription products require an online physician consultation and are only available if the physician determines a prescription is appropriate. See website for full details.
Hey guys, good news. The outrageously expensive little blue pill is now generic, which means you can get the prescription medication to treat ED at affordable prices. And Hims makes it extra affordable. Right now, get your first month supply for free. All you pay is just $5 for your medical consultation when you go to 4hims.com/plan. After that, it's just $30 for a month's supply. Sure beats paying big bucks for just one blue pill, doesn't it? Plus, you won't need an awkward in-person doctor's appointment to get the prescription. Hims has doctors online who can prescribe the medication, and a pharmacy sends it right to your door. It's affordable, private, and incredibly easy. Nobody likes dealing with ED. Now, thanks to Hims, nobody has to. And that's really good news. To get your first order for just $5, you need to go to this exclusive address, 4hims.com/plan. That's 4hims.com/plan for your first month for just $5. 4hims.com/plan.
Policies issued by American General Life Insurance Company, Houston, Texas. Not available in all states. For details, visit AIGdirect.com.
Do you have a family? Would you like to help make sure they'll be taken care of if anything were to happen to you? If you answered yes, you probably need life insurance. Now, do you think life insurance is expensive? If you answered yes to that too, you definitely need to give AIG Direct a call. We could find you a $250,000 policy for just $14 a month, which means you could save hundreds of dollars a year. Call us now for a free, no-obligation quote. 1-800-700-1368. Since 1995, we've helped millions of people find out if they could save up to 70% on their term life insurance. See how affordably we can help you protect your family. Call AIG Direct now for your free quote. 1-800-700-1368. You could save up to 70%. That's 1-800-700-1368. 1-800-700-1368.
8:37 and a check on the roads in the AM 560 Traffic Center. Here's Jim Telemonte.
Eastbound Adams Tollway traffic is heavy from before Lee Street onto the Kennedy. Inbound Kennedy delays are from Central to the Hubbard Tunnel. It's 42 minutes, O'Hare to downtown. 30 from Montrose, but 35 now on the express lane. Outbound 33 minutes to the airport. Eden's 19 minutes, Lake Cook to the junction. Outbound 24. Inbound Eisenhower with the new lane configuration approaching downtown. It's an hour and 16 minutes, 390 to the Burn Circle. 58 minutes from Manheim. Outbound 47 minutes to 390. Stevenson, an hour and 16 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Ryan is 34 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, 25 minutes, I-80 to the merge. Bishopford, 35. Eastbound Reagan Tollway is heavy, 59 to Winfield and 83 to the Tri-State. Traffic, I'm Jim Talamonte. On AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the 1-hour heating and air conditioning weather center. Sunshine and 60 today. Currently 48. Next news coming up at 9. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Watch today's show live right now on the Income Store live video stream at 560theanswer.com.
If you're looking for the latest news, insight into what it means, and the sharpest opinion, there's only one station in Chicago where you can turn, and it's this one. We're AM 560. The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. Should Facebook be broken up? Is it, as Reparation H says, essentially utility that has gone unregulated? That's what Kamala Harris said about Facebook in her interview with Jake Tapper over the weekend. I hope they won't, but I can hope. I hope all of these champagne socialist Silicon Valley entrepreneurs are learning the lesson Bill Gates had to learn 30 years ago. There are conservatives who are free enterprise and will defend what you build, recognizing that you built it, and don't see big as a synonym for bad. Right. Everybody loves small businesses. You just have to stay small. If you grow, then you metastasize into something evil. This is the pablum of the left. But all of these social media CEOs, of course, are men of the left and their hierarchy, women of the left. I think the COO of Facebook, Sheryl Sandberg, who's too busy making sure nobody uses the word bossy to refer to females, to pay attention to those who would tear asunder the company over which she's the chief operating officer. Kamala Harris, leading presidential candidate on the Dem Socialist side, and don't think she's the only one, open to the idea of breaking up Facebook. It's essentially utility. Chris Hughes, one of the co-founders of Facebook with Zuckerberg back in the day after he stole the idea from the Winklevoss twins, he thinks Facebook should be broken up too, that Zuckerberg has led it awry. Here's what he had to say.
Do you think Facebook is dangerous?
I do.
Facebook founder Chris Hughes slamming the company he helped build.
The reason that I'm speaking out is because I think Facebook has become too big, too powerful.
Who are you going to send it to? As depicted in the movie The Social Network, Hughes was a student at Harvard when he met Mark Zuckerberg as a freshman and then shared a dorm room with him. Zuckerberg was user number 4 on Facebook. Hughes was number 5. He helped develop the now famous news feed on Facebook, made $500 million, left Facebook in 2007, and sold his shares 5 years later. This morning, in a scathing op-ed in the New York Times, Hughes says Facebook, worth $500 billion, is a monopoly that must be stopped. Facebook should be separated into multiple companies, Hughes writes. He calls on the Federal Trade Commission to undo Facebook's acquisitions of Instagram and WhatsApp and ban Facebook from buying other companies for several years. Hughes also wants a new government agency empowered by Congress to regulate Facebook and other tech companies and protect user privacy. Some of the strongest language in the op-ed he saves for Zuckerberg. Mark's power is unprecedented and un-American, he writes, questioning his unilateral control over speech. There is no precedent for his ability to monitor, organize, and even censor the conversations of 2 billion people.
He is extremely powerful because he has no boss, because there's no regulatory agency from the federal government.
Hughes says he worries Zuckerberg has surrounded himself with a team that reinforces his beliefs instead of challenging them. On Capitol Hill last year, Zuckerberg promised changes. Last month, he wrote about building a privacy-focused messaging and social networking platform.
It will take some time to work through all the changes we need to make across the company, but I'm committed to getting this right. This includes the basic responsibility of protecting people's information.
But Hughes says it's like deja vu. Every time Facebook messes up, we repeat an exhausting pattern. First outrage, then disappointment, and finally resignation.
What about it? Chris Hughes and Reparation H, are they right? Break up Facebook, 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. Nick Clegg, he's a comms guy for Facebook. He's got a response in the New York Times over the weekend. He points to what he calls misunderstandings about Facebook and the competitive dynamics. First, he writes, all of our products and services fight for customers. Each one has at least 3 or 4 competitors with hundreds of millions, if not billions of users. In photo and video sharing, we compete against services like YouTube, Snapchat, Twitter, Pinterest, and others. In messaging, we're not even the leader in the top 3 markets, China, Japan, and our estimate, the United States, where we compete with Apple's iMessage, WeChat, Line, and Microsoft's Skype. Globally, the context in which social media must be understood, China alone has several large social media companies, including powerhouses like Tencent and Sina. It will seem perverse to people in Europe and certainly in China to see American policymakers talking about dismantling one of America's biggest global players. He also writes, the second misunderstanding is of antitrust laws. These laws are not meant to punish a company because people disagree with its management. Their purpose is to protect consumers by ensuring they have access to low-cost, high-quality products and services, and especially in the case of technology, rapid innovation. Well, that's exactly where Facebook puts its attention, building the best products free for customers and funded by advertisers. He makes the point that the idea that Facebook is a monopoly, the revenue is mostly from digital advertising. Facebook shares about 20% of the U.S. online ad market, which means 80% of digital ads happen off Facebook platforms. So how do you call that a monopoly? He makes some good arguments, I think. And I just say again, I just wish the leftist champagne socialists, as I termed them, could align their thinking with their conduct, and frankly, could align their consideration of the marketplace with those who believe in free minds and free markets, as opposed to those who they otherwise customarily support who don't. I mean, it's just remarkable to me to watch people invest in their opponents. And I get that these big companies run to the government, please come in, as Zuckerberg has, please come in and regulate us. As a way to defang the government. It's a way to protect themselves from real antitrust prosecution. Well, and by the way, so I understand that from a Machiavellian business strategy, I'm opposed to the antitrust prosecution of Facebook. It's not a monopoly. Oh, by the way, there's no such thing as a natural monopoly. Monopolies don't occur other than with government sanction. That's the reality. Facebook is not a utility. It's a private social media platform. And
do you think Mark Zuckerberg has too much power?
I don't think about it. I mean, what's too much and what's not enough? I'm not here to put a floor or a ceiling on Mark Zuckerberg's power. And the way Chris Hughes talks about it, sentimentalist as he is, clearly, how do you measure it? Well, is it his net worth? Is it the number of Facebook users? I mean, what's too much? What's not enough? That's for the marketplace to decide.
Well, I just don't like their inconsistency with who they're going to ban. Like they took Alex Jones down, they took Farrakhan down. I actually want to hear what Farrakhan has to say, just to know what your enemy thinks.
You can go to Nation of Islam on any Sunday and hear Hyde Park.
Or St. Sabina.
Yeah, or you go to St. Sabina. Yeah. I mean, this is a private platform, and so yes, to Nick Clegg's point. I disagree with a lot of what Mark Zuckerberg has said and done. I agree that the policies that they set forth that supposedly govern content are unequally enforced. It's a left-wing culture there, of course, but it's also a platform that is that you're free to access or not access. And this is where sort of it's like a little bit where conservatives complain about Hollywood. Well, I got to tell you, I was having this conversation with a movie producer friend of mine who's a conservative. And we've had this conversation with Andrew Klavan on this show, too. We have talented people on our side. People can write, read, think, artists, creative types. Build your own castle. I mean, if you want to cede all this land to the left when it comes to social media platforms, when it comes to other cultural institutions, civic institutions, then it's hard to complain about it. Then what do you want to do? Then you want the government to come in and do for you what you couldn't do? You want the government to tear somebody else's property apart because you didn't want to compete. Well, there's nothing conservative about that. That's what the left does. Tom in Deer Park, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hi, good morning. As a free marketeer, from a philosophical point of view, I'd be against breaking it up or against regulating them. But certainly there's a movement on the right. Maybe guys like Tucker Carlson or some of the other people like that start pushing the agenda, and they do it because the president's howling, and not unfairly, about the coverage of these social media companies. Not unfairly, but the philosophical and ideological arguments will go out the window if the big boys in the right media start complaining about it.
Well,
that's my opinion.
Well, yeah, but okay, but I mean, where is it coming from right now? It's coming from the left. And oh, by the way, Trump hasn't done anything in the direction of suggesting antitrust prosecution of Facebook or Google or Twitter or anything else.
I think he said, I don't have it in front of me, Dan, right now to cite it, but he's definitely done some howling about it.
He's howled about it. He hasn't done anything in pursuit of it, which is the difference. He howls about all kinds of things. So he is not leveraging his power as the most powerful man in the free world to interfere with the way Facebook and Twitter and the other social media platforms operate. I mean, he's not the one whistling the CEOs before congressional committees to testify and to go back and forth with all these fungible Congress people. He's not doing that. And here's something else, because one thing Trump realizes, and I think people forget this with all the Russia silliness and so forth. Mark Zuckerberg, I understand Mark Zuckerberg called Trump on election night 2016 and said that your campaign ran the most ingenious and successful Facebook ad campaign in history to date. So one of the reasons Trump is president of the United States is because social media platforms, including the one that he most frequents, Twitter, allow him to go around the old media, to go around the D.C. press corps and communicate directly to the people. And they Brad Parscale and the Trump campaign used social media to win the election in 2016. Let's not forget that. For those who may be wooed by the siren song of the left, because Facebook and Twitter and these CEOs of these companies, Google, are leftists. Yeah, we may not have built a competitor, those on the center right, but President Trump used the infrastructure the left built successfully against the left in 2016.
This is the morning show more Chicago radio listeners are choosing. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
This is Dr. Howard, founder and formulator of Balance of Nature. We're changing America one life at a time.
Well, I have different vitamins I had to take because of my post-cancer, post-cardiac situation. But the Balance of Nature, that being so condensed and so natural and, is amazing stuff. I haven't felt this good in 7 or 8 years. I would not be able to do a third of any of this stuff. After I started taking Balance of Nature, I started to have more energy. It's a godsend. It really is.
Talk to a Balance of Nature health coach today and see if getting the nutrition from over 10 servings of fruits and vegetables can make a difference in your life. Use discount code CHICAGO to receive free shipping on every order. Call 800-2468-751 or go to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
Hey, one of the most frustrating aspects of running a business today is dealing with technology. It's wonderful when it all works, but what about when it's not? IT, networks, computers, you just want to run your business. And hiring an IT department, it's out of the question, or is it? For only $7.95 a month, you can eliminate the hassle of IT and computer issues with Turnkey IT. It'll be like having your own in-house IT department, but better. Turnkey makes it happen. They make it secure. They make it smart. You will be set up for success and not have to deal with all the technical issues that really can overwhelm a business. Turnkey becomes your IT department and they'll help you with all your daily IT issues. Have Turnkey do a complimentary network audit of your systems, even if you have a current IT company, so you know where you stand with technology. Leave the technical stuffs to the pros so you can focus on the important things. Visit turnkey.pro.
Sheet metal is a big part of commercial and industrial facilities. Look around your business and you'll quickly notice how many components use sheet metal. From fan systems and hoods to machinery guards and much more. For top quality sheet metal work, get to know the pros at Vans Industrial.
Hi, I'm Dave Van Camp, owner of Vans Industrial. Vans Industrial is an industrial sheet metal contractor that can fabricate all types of alloys up to 1-inch plate. We perform jobs including chutes, hoppers, stacks, siding, and dust collection. We work in material handling facilities including steel, chemical, agricultural, food processing plants, and more. Vans Industrial can also design and perform the engineering for a complete turnkey installation. Our quality work is installed by trained mechanics who will work closely with you to make sure the job is done right.
Vans uses only the best and safest union-trained mechanics, insured at the highest level. Call 833-VANS-IND. That's 833-VANS-IND. Or on the web at vansindustrial.com.
If your business depends on a Sprinter or light-duty diesel, you can't afford to have just anyone care for your major investment in important equipment. From a single vehicle to an entire fleet, depend on the experts at Remke's Garage to fix your Sprinter, Duramax, Cummins, or Power Stroke vehicle. Only go to the experts at Remke's Garage. Remke's doesn't just fix problems, they find solutions. Remke's goal is making sure you never lose a dollar of business. That's why owner Joe Remke will customize a maintenance plan specific to your unique vehicle. Remke's Garage specializes in Sprinter and light-duty diesel vehicles. Their commitment to your business is backed with a complimentary maintenance plan and free 2-year warranty on all parts. They'll pick up, deliver, and offer you a loaner vehicle for free. Go to remkesgarage.com to schedule your free maintenance plan consultation. That's Remke's, REMKES, garage.com. Be sure to mention AM 560. That's Remke's, REMKES, garage.com.
Message and data rates may apply.
Do you want to learn how to get started making money flipping houses right here in Chicago? If so, we have an amazing opportunity for you. We're looking for a small group of motivated individuals to join our real estate investing team. You'll be introduced to our 3-step system for flipping homes right here in the local area. This is Than Merrill, star of A&E's hit TV show Flip This House. My team and I are looking for a handful of people in the Chicago area who want to learn how to get started making money flipping houses in your spare time using other people's money. Chicago is a perfect market for my system, and next week I'm holding a free 2-hour educational workshop where we'll share how to get started making money flipping houses and how to build long-term wealth with income properties.
To get 2 free tickets to Than's workshop, text your 5-digit zip code to 82,000. Seating is extremely limited, so text your 5-digit zip code to 82,000. Text in the next 10 minutes, and you'll also reserve a free copy of Than's Money for Deals Guide. Just text your zip code to 82,000.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest-growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
I'm Chuck Spaveri, CEO of Spaveri's Custom Counters, a Chicagoland manufacturer of residential and commercial countertops. If there's a local commercial bank who knows how to get a deal done, it's Signature Bank. When my brother and I needed it, Signature Bank came through with a creative financing solution. That's because Signature Bank has experience working with companies like ours, a second-generation, family-owned and operated manufacturer. Our business matters to Signature Bank, and that comes through in every visit and every phone call with their team, right up to the bank's co-founders, Kevin, Mick, and Brian. Spaveri's is proud to bank with Signature Bank.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. To learn more about turning your business vision into reality, visit signaturebank.bank. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan, we finally have a win-win for women's sports. Remember that power lifter who won 9 events in one day, shattering all records before? Person's name was Mary. Well, actually, the real person's name is Greg. And decided to be a woman and won the world squat record, open world bench record, master world DL record. Again, nine records that day were shattered. Well, guess what? They've stripped her of her titles because they realize that she's not a woman. She's actually a man. And his real name is Gregory, and he's a construction worker, and bye-bye. So that's a win-win for us because women were, female athletes were mad all over because it would start a new precedent. No woman would ever reach his status if they kept the records as they were. So history has been erased, and Gregory is gone.
USA Powerlifting passing a policy banning transitioning athletes from competing against athletes that match their gender identity by a vote of 46-5. That's just transitioning. There's still the question of, if you have the surgery, I mean, it hasn't changed. XXXY doesn't change. You can't surgically change your chromosomal makeup, but if you have the surgery, then can you compete?
Ooh, I hope that doesn't. But don't give him an idea.
But this.
Well, they said Gregory would have transitioned. He said, but he's as a construction worker, he didn't have the insurance to pay, so that he got his naughty bits.
Don't worry. Bolshevik Bernie's Medicare for All covered that.
Oh, really?
So he can get back into the powerlifting game when we elect a Bolshevik to the presidency in 2020.
Oh,
so you can look forward to that.
Okay. Thanks so much for making us part of your morning. Thanks to Justin Kosick, our technical producer, and Quinn McCarthy. What is Quinn McCarthy? Is he bench spotter?
Former president of USA Powerlifting.
Thanks for that. We're back here bright and early tomorrow morning at 5 a.m. Now here is the one, the only, Mike Scott.
Well, we're liking the sunshine that's broken out this morning. We'll see mostly sunny skies for the remainder of the day and a high near 60. Other stories we're following this morning. The Dow Jones Industrial Average dropping over 400. More reaction to the China trade talks. Fox with the latest on that developing story. And a driver flees after hitting a girl in St. Charles Township on her bike. WIND Chicago News Time is 9 o'clock.
A stock plunge made in China.
This board, because the next gen is where you can play his cuts. If he wants to play any cuts, and then